Ipswich Town's penultimate home fixture of 2024 is just moments away from kicking off. With full commentary and match day on BBC Radio Suffolk at Portman Road. We'll hear from former Town captain Mick Mills in a moment. He's alongside Brenner Woolley.
And one can't help but think of a certain legendary England manager whenever these two clubs meet. And I'm pretty sure that Sir Bobby Robson will be looking down this afternoon, delighted to see his two great footballing clubs playing each other in the top flight for the first time since he was in charge of the Magpies. Well, Sir Bobby never saw Kieran McKenna's side or watched the Geordies under Eddie Howe. If he did, I'd wager he'd been highly impressed by the brand of attacking, high-intensity football that they brought to Portman Road and St James's Park. So whatever the outcome today, I'm quietly confident we'll get a game that the great man would have heartily enjoyed, especially if it ends up all square, although it's not what we're after, of course. Hopefully Town fans will get an early Christmas present in the shape of their side's first home win of the season. Just looking at the two teams in the tunnel down below us, ready to come out here. Obviously a lively atmosphere at Portman Road. And Mick Mills, at what point does the lack of a home win start to become an issue for Ipswich Town, do you think?
Well, I think only if you sort of dwell in sort of relegation positions, really. It doesn't bother me where the points come from as long as we get enough points to stay up. But obviously there is one group of people that deserve a little bit of reward, and that's the supporters. You know, you always, with away games, there's only 3,000-ish lucky people that can watch the game. When you're playing at home, you're talking about 27,000. You know, so you almost owe it to them to sort of reward their loyalty, to give them a win or two, so that just keeps them going for the rest of the season, really. So apart from that, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is the points total at the end of the season. And you do tend to feel that home games are easier. If you look at any league table at the end of a season, you could bet your life that 90% of the teams in those divisions will gain more home points than away points, which tells you it's slightly easier at home than away. So we have to be patient. Our wins will come. We'll get 3 or 4 wins at home by the end of the season, believe you me.
Well, 2 wins so far for Ipswich Town. 1 at Tottenham, 1 last week at Wolverhampton Wanderers. So can they win back-to-back Premier League games for the first time this season here this afternoon, live on BBC Radio Suffolk against the visitors Newcastle United, who are 12th in the table with 23 points from their 16 games so far. Town on 12 points after playing the same number. So game 9 here of the season, the 17th overall, as Kieran McKenna and Eddie Howe warmly embrace down below us. The players out, just crossing the halfway line, shaking hands. Sam Morsey leading Ipswich Town along that Newcastle United line. Town in their blue-white-blue outfits. And both managers have been forced into a single change. Last weekend, Liam Delap and Joe Linton both picked up their 5th yellow cards of the season, so neither player features this afternoon. Smodics comes in for Ipswich Town. It's Willock for Newcastle. So Smodics, the one change from the win over Wolverhampton Wanderers a week ago. He was ill for that game. Did have a really good game for Blackburn against Newcastle in the Cup last season, and actually scored in that match as well. He's got the nod over Al Hamady or Broadhead. So Murrich once again in goal in all yellow. He conceded 4 for Burnley against Newcastle last season. His back 4, Harry Clark, Dara O'Shea, who scored against the Magpies, Cameron Burgess and Leif Davis. Then it's Morsey the captain alongside Kiyuste. A 3 of Burns, Chaplin and Hutchinson. As I say, it's Smodics looking for his 4th goal of the season. His first at Portman Road, who leads the line. On the bench, Walton, Jack Clark, the former Sunderland player, Johnson, Phillips, Broadhead, Al Hamady, Townsend, Taylor, last week's hero, and Greaves is preferred to Wolfenden amongst the subs. Newcastle, they have Dubravka in goal, their second choice, because former Town youngster Nick Pope is currently out injured. The back 4 in front of Dubravka from right to left, Livramento, Scher, Byrne and Hall. Their 3-man midfield. Tonali will hold in the centre, Guimaraes the captain, and Willock play in and around him. Isaac is their central striker. Murphy, former Norwich player, will play to his right. Gordon, the England international, former Everton player, will drift off to the left. Vlachodimos is their sub-keeper. Alongside him on the Newcastle bench, Kieran Trippier, Harvey Barnes, Matt Targett, Will Osula, Miguel Almiron, Lloyd Kelly, Sean Longstaff and Lewis Miley. the 18-year-old midfielder who's just back after injury. How much are Town going to miss Liam Delap then this afternoon, Mick?
Well, I hope not at all, but to be perfectly honest, he's been our key player all season without question. He's been our best player all season without question, and he's a big loss, and a much bigger one, the fact that Hurst is not available, because Hursty has really sort of stepped in off the bench or even the odd starting position when Liam's taken a rest, and has performed really, really well as well. So it's a big loss not to have the pair of them, but Sammy Smodics will not let us down. He'll have to play the position a little bit differently. What we'll miss most of all is the physical presence of Liam Delap and his directness as well.
Should be a good game. This terrific atmosphere here, the 3,000 Geordies that made the long trip down from the northeast in fine fettle, many of them in the traditional black and white, unlike their team who have the white shorts, turquoisey greeny shorts and white socks. Newcastle in their change kit, Town in blue, white, blue, getting the ball rolling to this side underneath us, the Ipswich Town right. They are defending the Sir Bobby Robson stand in the first half, so playing from left to right as Newcastle have the ball at the back with Scher, the right-sided centre-half. The Swiss plays the ball long to Murphy, onside, wide right. He's got away from Davis, who'd vacated that left-sided area. Murphy, the ball into the box, a chance, blocked away, then another one, 1-0 Newcastle. They've scored inside 26 seconds, but the flag has gone up far side. They delayed it for a while. Murphy looked in a lot of space far side when that move began, and eventually the flag has gone up against Newcastle, and it's not Isak's 9th of the season.
I don't believe what I'm seeing now. I think the linesman has now given offside for the initial run through.
VAR is checking the offside decision. Well, Newcastle scored after about 90 seconds against Ipswich at St James's Park. I think the last time we were there, if memory serves. That goal, if it stands, would be about a minute earlier. So we're just waiting to see if that's going to be given. At the moment, Burgess is standing over a free kick for Town. It's 0-0 as we sit here.
Can they not make their own decisions nowadays? I find it really amazing.
He was miles into the Ipswich Town half, Murphy, well away from Leif Davis, who'd gone forward. Three Newcastle players speaking to the referee, just waiting for the decision. It's very, very tight. Burgess was the player playing Murphy on, if indeed he was. From this angle, we've yet to see the line drawn across the pitch. We're watching the graphic in the rain here at Portman Road. Isak obviously waiting next to the referee, so too Gamaresh. There's Willock, who had the initial chance for Newcastle. Isak, who put it away. Eddie Howe's looking at a screen down below us. And this is the way in the Premier League with VAR these days. A lot of sitting and waiting. It's a long ball forward from back to front by Scher. It's close, Mick, isn't it?
I think Cameron Burgess has got it right. If he has got it right, he's a cool customer, because it was very, very close, but it looks to me as if he's got it right.
Well, it must be very tight, the time they're taking over this decision. The ball was in the back of the net after. When I looked down at my stopwatch, it said 26 seconds, so probably 25. Kieran McKenna obviously waiting. The referee now talking to Sam Morsey. Bruno's there as well. Joe Willock. The body language at the moment, I was going to say suggests no goal, but let's just wait and see. This is crazy that it takes so long.
What is amazing is we had no sort of decision coming from the linesman, and he couldn't have been closer.
Fans, as you can hear in the background, rather disgruntled. He kicks in replays of the goal. Muric got half a glove on it. It ended up in the back of the net. And the referee's blown his whistle. And the goal has been given. Newcastle United have scored inside the first 30 seconds of this game here at Portman Road after a huge delay with the VAR decision. Another one has gone against Ipswich Town this season, and with less than a minute on the clock, well, at least they've got 89 minutes to get back into this game. They trail Newcastle United by 1-0.
Well, Cameron got it slightly wrong, but we really should have dealt with the cross. The cross was a poor cross. We had an opportunity to get out of the penalty area. We fouled.
1-0 Newcastle United lead. Ball on the far side is with Smodics. what a start for both teams in this match then. After a long old while, it did look phenomenally close. And just looking back at the action, Murphy's been credited with the goal inside Portman Road, but it's quite clearly Isak's 9th of the season. So Newcastle on this left with Anthony Gordon playing the ball down the near touchline to Gordon. Gordon's dragged back by Clark. It's going to be really, really tested, Harry Clark, this afternoon against Anthony Gordon, one of the very best left-sided players at this level.
He's done exactly right, Harry. He's gone, he's squeezed him, got tight really well, but he's then overplayed it. He's got to just get tight and just make sure that Gordon does not turn.
Share his ball up to the halfway line. It was he who set Murphy free for the opening goal. That's right, if you're just joining us 4 minutes in, Newcastle ahead. Burns against Hall. Burns dragging Hall back. Oh, the decision's gone the way of Newcastle United. Look, 6 of 1 and half a dozen.
That's 6-1, I think, in favour of Town. That was a foul by the left back, no question about it.
As cleared away by Byrne, nodded down by Isak to the halfway line. Clark lifts it forward. Livramento's header brought down by Morsey. Morsey slides, gets the ball to Cayuste. Newcastle win it back. Now it's with Livramento getting away from Cayuste far side. The former Chelsea and Southampton player Livramento, now full England international. Great play from him, but then just overcooks his pass, trying to get Murphy away in front of him. It's out for a throw to the Ipswich Town left back, Leif Davis.
Yeah, good bit of attacking play by Livramento. He really was in control of the whole situation there, and he was pushing Town further and further back as he made the run.
Heavy rain at Portman Road. Newcastle with their goal scorer Isak outside the area. It's Willock who's got a goal in him. Willock into the box to Gordon. Gordon still has the ball. Anthony Gordon shoots, blocked, cleared away by Cayuste. Up in the air it goes. Chaplin's header goes back towards Clark on the edge of his box, and he volleys it away. Newcastle clearly buoyed by that opening goal of the afternoon. Smodic's in for Delap, if you missed the team news at the start of this game. The one change for Ipswich Town. Here is that Share. Overhits that pass dramatically on the far side. Here is the former season ticket holder at St James's Park, Leif Davis, with a throw-in down the far touchline. Share just eases Smodix off the ball and then plays the ball along the edge of the Newcastle United 18-yard area to Byrne. Played with Cameron Burgess at Fulham and Sam Morsey at Wigan many moons ago. Dan Byrne, the big centre-half. Here is Dubravka, the Czech goalkeeper. Short to Share, who's seen plenty of the ball. He was one of Newcastle's goal scorers in the week as they reached the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup again. Back with Share. Share trying to switch her play out to the left-hand side, testing Clark with a ball over the top of him towards Hall, who's run onto this. He's overlapped. Clark goes back to Murich. Well defended, Harry Clark. Murich with a little bit of a heavy touch, and then he fizzes the pass away. There's 2 balls on the field. Play continues far side. Not sure why the second ball arrived there. Well won by Davis. Here is Amari Hutchinson. Smodix wants the ball down the left-hand side. He's got it. Needs support in the centre. Smodix is all alone inside the Newcastle box, left of centre. Tries to pull it back towards Chaplin. Comes back to Smodix off a Newcastle player. Town 1-0 down. Davis knocks the ball in centrally into the gloves of the man in green, Dubravka.
Yeah, that was good. I was just a bit disappointed with the Newcastle attack. I think Harry Clark has gone in to mark Gordon right infield, and he's got caught with the ball to shore, and you've got to get you've got to get more assistance from Wes Burns than he did on that occasion. But that was a good attack.
7.5 minutes gone. Town trailing 1-0. Tonali, great run from him, plays it towards Willock. Cross comes O'Shea. Willock in field, little reverse ball towards the Swede Isak. 2 Swedish internationals, one for either side on the park here this afternoon. Isak and Cayuste. Isak with the only goal we've seen so far. Ball into the centre of the field with Share. Now Newcastle have it on the far touchline with Jacob Murphy. It's been in good form of late. A couple of goals and a couple of assists in Newcastle's last 2 league games. Jacob Murphy did play in a couple of East Anglian derbies early on in his career. Hall down the line, that's loose, straight to Harry Clark. Well done. Chaplin. There is Wes Burns. Many people thought he had his best Premier League game at Wolves last week, Wes Burns. Clark in field, finds Burgess. Burgess to the left and Davis. That's good play from Ipswich Town. Obviously, understandable. It would have been rattled by conceding a goal inside 26 seconds of this game. There is Amari Hutchinson to Kayuste. Town in blue, playing it around the half off to the left. Given away by Leif Davis to Guimaraes. To the right-hand side, Murphy. Chance to cross into the Ipswich Town area. Plays it instead to Guimaraes. He stands on the ball. Little drag back. Gets to the byline. With his orange boots of his. There is Livramento. It goes back to Cher. Lively encounter so far between these two sides in swirling rain. There is Tonali. He got a couple of goals in the week against Brentford. Plays it to Livramento. The crowd playing their part. One-touch stuff from Newcastle. One watches Eddie Howe down below us. There's the captain Guimaraes up to Isak, whose first touch on the stretch let him down. Town can't get the ball away. Guimaraes gets it off of Hutchinson very easily on the right corner of the Ipswich area. Guimaraes gives it to Murphy. Guimaraes now with a cross into the centre over the top of Isak, stumped up by Clark. The ball's still alive inside the Ipswich area, headed away by Burgess, controlled by Hall. Nice movement there from Hall of his body. Gordon infield to the number 8 Tonali. He's going to have a go. Wasn't far away from Tonali. It was aimed towards the top right corner as he looked at it.
Well, they're a lively sort of side, Newcastle. They play with no real caution whatsoever. They remind me a little bit of Bournemouth, who were up here a little while ago. So it's going to be a very open game. They are going to really test us out defensively. But the fact they have such a positive attitude, it will give us a chance to get this goal back.
Hall cushions the ball down nicely for Gordon, who knocks it on for Willock. The former Arsenal player's not quick enough to get to it. There is Wes Burns with a cushion header infield to Morsey. Not quite been on his A game of late, but Morsey has done very well. Morsey to Hutchinson. Hutchinson running well with the ball. Has Davis on the overlap. Hutchinson has a go, comes off the backside of Cher. Deflects to Davis. First time good looking cross from him. Chaplin's there. Headed away by Hall. There's a clash of heads. So Hall certainly got hit by some part of Chaplin and has gone down, and people are booing and whinging. The referee's done exactly the right thing. A head injury, he has to stop play immediately. That was a good break from Ipswich.
Yeah, it was an excellent break, a really good break, and in actual fact, during the play, there was a super run early from Sammy Smodics, and I don't think the player on the ball, I think it was Amari Hutchinson, didn't see it. If he had seen it, it's the type of run Sammy makes. He would have beaten the back four quite comfortably and would have had a chance on target. But that was a good attack, and that's the type of thing we've got to do. We really have to be on top of our game.
Chaplin and Smodic seem to be a little bit confused by the referee's decision. He's given the ball back to Dubravka. Stuart Atwell, incidentally, in charge of this one. John Brooks on VAR. That was part of the team that made that big call inside the first minute to award Newcastle a goal. Very, very tight off decision. Tonali almost lost the ball. He's caught Chaplin. The referee says no free kick. Town fans having a moan about that, but the referee did seem well positioned. Newcastle get the ball up to halfway with Murphy. Back it goes to Livramento. Town got 2 more chances to get that home win before the turn of the year. Chelsea come here a week on Monday. In between those 2 matches, Arsenal, where Ipswich Town will be playing their football on Friday night. Full match commentary on BBC Radio Suffolk. Town get the ball up towards Smodics, the central attacker. He gives it backward to Bruno. Big cheer for the decision. It's gone Ipswich Town's way, far side of the field, for a foul on Smodics by Dan Byrne.
Yeah, we need 1 or 2 decisions to go in our favour. I feel the referee with the marginals has given them to Newcastle so far, and it's angered the crowd.
Town played a free kick backwards. There is Cameron Burgess. For most people, Town's man of the match in the last 2 games. Now Kayuste to the halfway line, goes square to Clark. Clark first time in behind for Burns. The idea was right, just too much on the ball from the Town right back, and it's back with Martin Dubravka.
Yeah, good run by Burns, and normally Harry Clark hits him with a good ball there, but that one he's tried to play along the ground. He needed to really get it up and down.
Another defeat for Manchester City at lunchtime, 2-1 at Aston Villa. Unbelievable run of form they've got themselves on at the moment. They're one of Town's opponents here next month. Of course, after Chelsea, we've reached the halfway stage of the season. It's the return fixtures, starting with that trip to Fulham in the new year. And Town have got 3 Sunday games in a row because of the Bristol Rovers, one in between Fulham and Manchester City. Newcastle in white, playing the ball around inside their half of the field. There is Tonali, once of AC Milan. Ball goes back to Dubravka, out towards Livramento, who's come into a central position, getting the nod ahead of Trippier at right back at the moment. Back it goes to Hall on the near side. There was a real clash of heads with Connor Chaplin. There is Cher along the floor to Tonali. Good side to watch, Newcastle United. When they're really on their game, they're a massive threat. Travelled particularly well though this season. Tonali over the top. Murphy's going to go after it. Might hold up for Murphy. Murphy gets his cross into the box towards Gordon. Gordon heads down. He should have scored. Real opportunity for Anthony Gordon. I guess you credit Harry Clark for getting back and putting him off, but that was a real chance for Newcastle from nowhere.
Yeah, it was a very good chance, and I'm sort of concentrating on Harry Clark's forced positioning, because we're so obsessed with getting Leif Davis down the pitch that we end up with 3 defenders doing the width of the pitch. Harry Clark's having to go so far in that anything like a cross like we had there, or a crossfield ball, he really is struggling on.
Here is Guimaraes. Ball in field towards Dan Burn, who spent most of last season at left back. Now Isak, the only goal scorer. Lovely play from Isak. Oh, he almost got Willock in there. Stretch but couldn't get onto the ball. Muric, and Willock's now limping a little bit. He was the one change for Newcastle pre-kick-off. 15 minutes gone, but already we'll play an extra couple of minutes beyond the 45 because of that extended VAR decision which awarded Newcastle United a goal inside the first minute of this game. Muric drops the ball down and then kicks towards Smodics, battling with Cher. Flag's gone up. Smodics is really annoyed with his goalkeeper. Very unhappy. Free kick to Newcastle inside their half of the field. Just the 2 wins on their 8 away games so far this season. They've won at Wolves and Forest ahead of today. It's their 8th consecutive season back at this level. Tonali infield towards Isak, back to goal outside the Ipswich area, turns, gives the ball to Murphy. Murphy shoots and it's gone wide off his weaker left boot.
Well, we're sort of trying our best to get back into the game, but what is concerning me most of all is Newcastle's ability to break our back 4 up just by movement and stretching us. I'm looking time and time again and I'm thinking, yeah, the gaps between you defenders is too big, and there's players about to burst into those gaps. And I just saw Harry Clark having a go at Sammy Morsey for not picking his man up.
Livramento gives the ball to Bruno. Back it goes to Byrne. As I said earlier on, Newcastle have got some absolutely top quality players. If they're allowed to play, to get the opportunity, they certainly will cause harm to any team at this level. Very heavy rain here. Burgess misses his attempted kick. Drops nicely for O'Shea though. Heavy from O'Shea. Touched on by Leif Davis. Cleared away by Cher. Nice first touch from Davis. Down that far side is Smodic. Cher will come across there, shaped to go down the line, in the end turned and gets it back to Dubravka, who's closed down by Smodics. His clearance goes all the way to the halfway line, and Burgess. There is Kiyuste. Gives it to Morsey. Burgess. Now Leif Davis. He was praised by Eddie Howe pre-match when the 2 managers did their press conferences yesterday. Once again, 6 League One players in this Ipswich Town side this afternoon. 4 of them, I think, Paul Cook signings. One of them on the ball now, Chaplin. Chaplin gets to the halfway line in front of Kieran McKenna. Passes it straight at Hall when he was trying to fight Burns. Nice turn and field from Hall to get away from Hutchinson. Bruno, with the bleached hair, is available. He gets Livramento away in some space, far side. 1-0 Town trail. Here is Guimaraes to Tonali. Quality there in the Newcastle United midfield. Tonali down the right hand side looking for Murphy. Up goes Davis. Ball out of play for a throw to Newcastle, edging towards the Ipswich Town penalty area. Yeah, didn't manage to beat Ipswich Town in his time as the Bournemouth manager when they came here for a couple of seasons. All draws those games. Hall towards Gordon. Gordon tries to touch it on. Well done, Harry Clark again. Burns down the right hand side, wants to take on Hall. He's got away from him. Excellent play from Burns. Is there an end product outside the area? Low ball into the box, collected by Smodics, who's done well so far. Gets to the byline, back to Burns it goes. Town looking for an equaliser. Tonali blocks up Burns' cross. Clark puts a great looking ball in, headed away by Bruno. That was nice, very nice from Ipswich Town. Well done, Wes Burns.
Yeah, very good play. Best bit of play we've had so far.
Morsey. Town trying to peg Newcastle back. Morsey getting away from Guimaraes, gives the ball to Chaplin. The lay off to Cayuste. Cayuste's beaten Livramento. Cayuste shoots. That was good play, just over the bar. Unlucky.
Yeah, lovely play from the right side of midfield across the pitch, and we just found Cayuste in a great position, and his taking of the ball was excellent. It gave him the opportunity to get a shot away. It's much better.
Yeah, it is. It's given us hope that Town can get back into this game. Virtual spectators up until then. It was a lovely cross in from Harry Clark. This is the position that worries me when Leif Davis goes to take the right back and we're left 3v3 at the top end of the pitch. Chaplin with a little chest down, gets it off Tonali. Nice bit of fortune into Smodics in the area. Good save by Dubravka. Lovely play from Chaplin. Out as far as Davis. Town having a spell at the moment. Davis infield to Hutchinson, 30 yards from goal. This is much more like Ipswich Town, posing some problems for Newcastle. Back defending the Geordies. Smodics was put through on goal, and he's trying to lift it over the goalkeeper. The ball's now in the centre of the Newcastle half. Cayuste has it from Clark. All 10 white shirts of Newcastle behind the ball, because Town have got it in the middle third. Morsey wanting to get away from Tonali. Reverse pass up to Smodics. The lay off to Hutchinson. Smodics wants it back. Can't find it. It's congested in there. Newcastle get the ball away, but then given away by Willock. Willock plays it straight to Burns. Can Town capitalise? Burns tries to get his cross in. It comes off Hall high in the air, out for a throw.
Yeah, this is better. We're just posing Newcastle one or two problems for the first time in the game, and they don't look comfortable with it, Newcastle. They've had it all their own way so far, and they have played with an air of confidence. That's the first time they've had to do a little bit of thinking as a defensive unit.
21 minutes played live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Ipswich 10-0, Newcastle United 1. Clark with a throw towards Burns in the area, touches it infield from very close to the dead ball line. Cleared away by Anthony Gordon, not very well, might come out as far as Cayuste. The crowd want him to shoot, he's controlled it, rolled it to the left-hand side. Davis, just outside the Newcastle area, tries a little back heel, touches Murphy. Newcastle clear it away, only so far. Eventually it drops to Isak, out to the right-hand side. Guimaraes. Now Newcastle are 3-on-2 on the counter-attack. There's only Morsey and Clark back. Guimaraes into the area. Murphy for Newcastle. Brilliant block from the captain. Superb defending from Sam Morsey when Ipswich Town were totally stretched.
Oh, we were really on the rack there. There was only 2 players for Town, 3 Newcastle players, and one of them was Sam Morsey, who hasn't really got the pace to deal with a situation like that. But that was an absolutely fantastic block in the end.
Oh, phenomenal. And really, that would have taken the wind right out of Ipswich Town's sails after they'd been doing well. And
it was so good, I thought it was good. Cameron Burgess.
Yeah, it was terrific. 1-0 Newcastle lead. 2-0 would have been a heck of a blow to Ipswich. Given away by Tonali. Hutchinson gets on it. There is Cayuste, runs into trouble. Blocked up by Guimaraes. Back to the left-back area. Leif Davis will get on it. Absolutely tipping it down at Portman Road. Ball swings out of play on the far side of the field. Livramento, the 22-year-old right back, throws the ball back to Fabian Schär. One of the more senior players in this Newcastle side, turned 33 yesterday, Schär. Here he is again. He's got a terrific goal last season in the Champions League against Paris Saint-Germain. Newcastle will be trying to get back into European football next season. Here is Hall. Back towards Dan Burn. Now Schär inside the Newcastle half finds Guimaraes, or rather Guimaraes finds himself a little bit of space, makes himself available, keeps things ticking over. Schär back to Dubravka, who made that decent save from Smodics a few moments ago. The pitch is getting very heavy. Burn up towards Gordon, nice control from Gordon, stands over the ball, comes in field, loses it though. Morsey to Cayuste. Cayuste finds Clark. O'Shea goes back to Muric and blocks off Gordon at the same time. And now Muric in front of the north stand plays the ball out to Cayuste. He'll play it back with his right instep to Burgess. Cayuste again drops his shoulder. Town though in the end have to go back to Muric. Live on BBC Radio Suffolk. We're at the midway point of this first half. Morsey He's got the ball back from O'Shea after Town had played it out nicely from the back. Morsey at the heart of things. Morsey sells Hutchinson short. Tonali steps in. Newcastle on the counter. Maybe a chance inside the area. Isak for his second goal. Straight up Muric. That was a chance for Newcastle again, though, after Town had given the ball away. They can't continue to do that.
Yeah, big mistake from Sam Morsey. So that tries to play an infield ball, and there was a easy ball to his right-hand side, Connor Chaplin, and Newcastle got a great chance from that one mistake.
I just hope they're going to rue those missed opportunities, Newcastle. That's 2 in the last few moments, although one was a great block from Morsey, but that was a chance for Isak. Town on the right wing with Wes Burns, trailing 1-0. Burns looks up, plays a cross into the box, should be dealt with by Livramento. He touches it down for Murphy. Murphy's flick reaches Morsey. Morsey back on the ball for Ipswich. Certainly looked to be more goals in this game. Just that very, very early one. Inside the first 30 seconds, Newcastle took the lead in this game. Kayuste, 40 yards from goal, plays a diagonal out to the right-hand side, and Burns takes it on his chest up against Lewis Hall, former Chelsea player, and it comes across. It's a really good one as well from Burns. Oh, somebody could have been in there, maybe should have been in there.
Yeah, they should. That's a fabulous cross from Wes Burns. You've got Smodics, you've got Chaplin, and then you've got Leif Davis, a line of 3, and not one of them broke the line to attack the ball, you know, so they're initially in position to go in pursuit of the cross, but not one of them did it.
Kieran McKenna's got his hood up down below us, understandably so. Very wet afternoon here. Livramento underneath the Geordie crowd, far side, gets the throw into Tonali, and Tonali just bangs it up into that grey sky. Out on the far side for a throw-in to Cameron Burgess, perhaps, he or Leif Davis. It's certainly their side of the field as the Town substitutes are sent out on this near side of the pitch. Newcastle United's last win here, September 2009. It was a 4-0 victory on that occasion. The last time these two sides met was in the 16-17 season. Town lost 3-0 at St James's Park, but then won 3-1 here. Freddie Sears, David McGoldrick, and an Emir Hughes goal that particular Easter. It was when Daryl Murphy scored on his return here with the Magpies under Rafa Benitez, that probably was. Clark, almost given away, but Kayuste's done very well to make something of that pass from Clark, who really did sell him a dummy. Clark now back at right back, finds O'Shea, who we heard from earlier on Match Day, the Irishman. Good strong run up to halfway from O'Shea, then he tries to find Smodics. The pitch didn't help him, the ball is definitely holding up on this water-sodden surface. Shares come forward, tries to play it in behind for Isak, and again that maybe helped Ipswich Town there. The ball wasn't rolling as well as it might. Kayuste's lost the ball in midfield. Conditions playing a part. Chaplin brings down Guimaraes. Sort of challenge it might get a yellow card in the second half, but it's just a word of warning from the referee in the first.
Got away with it.
Just getting very heavy, that pitch.
It was a heavy challenge, and he was miles away from it being a good one, and normally that would be a yellow card.
Torrential rain here at Portman Road, definitely playing a part as well. Jason Tyndall, the assistant manager at Newcastle, just having a word with the fourth official down below us. That's John Busby, is the man standing in between the two managers. Still 1-0 Newcastle, 18 minutes to go in this first half. Game 17 of the season, so only Arsenal and Chelsea that we haven't seen so far in action against Ipswich Town in the Premier League. Hall with a free kick up to the edge of the Ipswich area, headed away by O'Shea, nodded on by Smodics. All hands on deck for Ipswich defending it. Livramento gives it back to Hall on halfway. Hall then gives it back to Dubravka, way out of his area. Dubravka launches one straight downfield. Clark ducks underneath it, and he sees that it's going to go back to Muric, and Muric passes the ball out towards Cameron Burgess. Burgess slips a pass to Leif Davis. Back it goes to Cameron Burgess. Now with Aro Muric. As Burns underneath us, just looking along the line. Muric stands on the ball on the edge of his area, gives it out to Morsey. Morsey then finds O'Shea under extreme pressure. Morsey did well. Now Clark back in the right back area. Clark in field to Kayuste, who finds Muric. He's going to be closed down by Guimaraes. Muric, that's risky. Didn't reach Morsey. No massive damage done. Newcastle have the ball, but only on the halfway line, going back into their half of the pitch.
No,
did look risky given
that's
the
where
conditions.
Muric is. He's not a footballer. He doesn't make the right decisions. He's not like an outfield. An outfield player would not have played that pass.
Cher just got away with one against Smodics. I do feel this pitch might play a part in an error at some point, a misjudgment. Guimaraes with a header down, high up in the air from the Murphy, not what he was intending. Burns allowed to win the header by Gordon. And it goes nicely to Chaplin. Chaplin loses his footing. The ball's out underneath us for a throw to Newcastle, who still lead by that very early goal to nil. They've had other chances. Smodics with Town's best opportunity. Kayuste put one over the bar as well. So fits and starts. Town have been an attacking force in this game. Newcastle with Fabian Cher back towards Dan Burn, up towards Isak, the goal scorer. Isak's ball's behind Gordon. Out of play for another throw-in. Last Premier League meeting here between these two sides 23 years ago. It was a Newcastle United win on that occasion. Last Premier League meeting anywhere was at St James's Park in March 2002. A 2-2 draw. Marcus Bent with the goals for Ipswich Town on that occasion. Clark, ball down the line. Burn touches it back, only to Chaplin. Kayuste has some space inside the Ipswich Town half. He's now opening his legs. He's crossing halfway, trying to find Smodics with the ball off the outside of his right boot. Blocked off. Newcastle get it again with Jacob Murphy. He allows Guimaraes to get in the ball in the centre circle. He picks out a pass to Gordon on the left-hand side. He can now have a run at the Ipswich Town right back. Clark, he rolls it forward to Hall inside the area. Hall's attempted cross was rather tepid, and it's picked up by Muric on his near post.
Yeah, we've made a couple of good surging runs over the top of the Newcastle defence, but they haven't quite been on, and we've sort of elected to try and make the pass, and it's been cut out quite comfortably. We've got to make the right decisions on the ball.
And continuing to play it out from the back, the short passes that eventually break through the Newcastle ranks. They've done that this time out to Burns. Burns has gone back to Clark, bit of disguise with a shimmy there. Clark, he's got the better of Gordon, but then forward the pass was off target, and that's dealt with by the Newcastle back four.
No, that's unfortunate. Harry Clark couldn't deliver when Sammy Smodics wanted him to deliver, and then he had to get himself back onside, and that's when Harry delivers the ball. And so everything for me has just been like that, just slightly off.
Guimaraes to Tonali. Now it's with Willock. Then Isak outside the Ipswich area. Ball into the box to Gordon. This could be a threat. Anthony Gordon comes in field. Still Gordon on his right-hand side. Tries to pick out a pass. Finds Murphy. Murphy with a shot. 2-0. Off the bar and in. Muric given no chance, and it's the former Norwich City player who celebrates his third goal of the season, and off he goes to celebrate with the Geordies opposite in the rain at Portman Road. It's a rather miserable game this for Ipswich Town at the moment. They trail Newcastle United by 2-0.
Well, it's a great setup initially by Gordon, and then the strike is a beautiful strike, but Harry Clark is having to go too far infield to link up or get close to his centre-back, Dara O'Shea, and this ball out to the left-hand side is always on, and Harry Clark then is on a hide into nothing. It's 1-1 inside our box. You don't want that situation if you're a fullback against a really good player. So positionally we've got to group around Harry a bit more and not make him come in field so much.
Clark goes back towards Burgess. A long way back now for Ipswich Town. Never say never. Just the start Newcastle United wanted inside the first 32 minutes of this game, having had that extra midweek match ahead of this one. Muric up towards Hutchinson. Hutchinson gets it back to Kayuste. Good run of form at the moment, Murphy. It's 3 goals and 2 assists in his last, 2.5 matches in the league. Burgess to Chaplin. Chaplin's just eased off the ball very easily in midfield. Isak, it could get worse. Chance for Murphy again. Burgess goes to ground again. I think the pitch helped Ipswich Town there. The roll of the ball wasn't as Newcastle would have hoped for on a dry surface. Here come Ipswich again in the centre of the field with Hutchinson. Tonali blocks him off. Hutchinson's done very well to hold on to the ball in the centre spot. Gives it to Clark on the right-hand side, underneath us. Clark back in towards Morsey on the halfway line. There's Burgess to Kayuste. Back it goes to Cameron Burgess. 33 and a bit minutes played. Hutchinson almost loses the ball. Clark then left-footed bangs it downfield. Dealt with by Byrne, chested by Hall, going back towards his own area. He's held on to it and he slips the pass square to Livramento. He's done very well under a lot of pressure there, Lewis Hall, who's only 20, the left back. Livramento to Guimaraes. Newcastle fancy more goals before half-time. Guimaraes finds Willock. Willock tries to get it on to Isak. No foul for the challenge on Willock, who went down. Morsey has it inside the Ipswich Town half. Willock has a little drag at his shirt. Morsey's attempted pass is blocked off by Tonali, winning things in midfield. Gordon, who made the last goals now inside the Ipswich Town area, gets the byline. Gordon plays it off of Clark. In goes Morsey, down goes Morsey. Free kick, one for Town behind right back.
Yeah, this is really worrying me, the way that Harry Clark has to go infield to deny the space between him and Dara O'Shea, who's having to go across the pitch. Sam Morsey's not tracking midfield runs into that space, so Harry has to go there, and inevitably the ball goes out to Gordon on the left with loads of time, loads of space to actually take advantage of a one-to-one.
Another risky ball out there from Muric. Well done actually in the end by Smodics coming back. Newcastle winning the ball well in midfield off various players. They've been swooping on the likes of Chaplin and Morsey when they've been getting a little bit of possession. Tonali and Guimaraes winning the ball for Newcastle, who now lead this by 2-0. As the TV cameras zoom in on a rather concerned Kieran McKenna. As the ball goes back now to Tonali. Tonali looks long. Too long for everyone. Muric out of his area. Gives it to Dara O'Shea, waving people forwards. Stands on it, O'Shea waits. Isak closes him down rather nonchalantly. Back with Cameron Burgess. Chaplin's down on halfway. Not taken apart in proceedings. Leif Davis has let the ball go out far side, so he can maybe have a little bit of treatment.
Yeah, he was waving to Cameron Burgess. He didn't want to receive the ball there. He's obviously hurt himself, so he then sat down. Ball's been played out. But we are in trouble. That early goal has given Newcastle a massive advantage. It's relaxed them. It's given them confidence. And then, you know, they have sort of marginally been the better team all over the pitch on the one-to-ones. And then the second goal was a massive goal. It was a great strike. We're now really struggling to get to grips with what we're doing, you know, and I really worry about the massive holes between defenders at the back end of our team, and the fact that Sam Morsey is wanting to pass midfield runs on, but there's nobody to pass those runs on to. So we're in trouble. They've done their homework on us. They know that Leif Davis is going to go on a little wander. It's going to leave 3 defenders, and you can stretch those 3 defenders.
Yeah, Town are in all sorts of trouble here. Chaplin's going to be okay by the looks of things. He's just come off after a little bit of treatment with Matt Byard, the Ipswich Town physio, so a bit more time added on beyond the 45th minute. Plenty of conversations going on out there between Morsey and Burns, Kiyuste and Clark. Kieran McKenna now having a word in Connor Chaplin's ear. Very difficult this for Ipswich Town. I think the rain is dried up a little bit, although that pitch is still very heavy. We've seen that on a few occasions. Maybe that's helped Ipswich Town when Newcastle's final ball hasn't quite had the legs that they would have hoped for. Isak gives the ball back to Muric. And Newcastle fans during that break chanting there's only one Bobby Robson, but the Town fans weren't really in the mood to join in. Muric out towards Hutchinson. Tonali is on him. Newcastle win the ball again. They keep doing that. Tonali tries to feed it through. It's very difficult when these boys are trying to hold the ball up under pressure from Tonali, Guimaraes and one of the wide players. 7 to go until half-time, or at least until we're told how much added on time there's going to be. Newcastle's final home opponents of the season, Chelsea. That'll be a nice easy one for them to get their first home win. Here is Livramento towards Isak. Newcastle lead 2-0. Guimaraes inside the Ipswich Town area, looks towards Isak by the byline, right of centre, well defended by Dara O'Shea. Excellent stuff from the Irishman. He clears into touch on the far side of the field.
Yeah, that was good defending, but our defenders are having to work so hard today to to keep this scoreline down, and I've never seen us having to do so many sort of one-to-ones and interceptions in the back line.
Yeah, this could be a heavy defeat based on what we've seen so far in this game. There is Tonali. I guess the hope is maybe that Newcastle tire given their midweek exertions as the game progresses, but they've got themselves a 2-goal cushion, and here they come again with Isak. They're certainly hungry for more. Murphy on the right-hand side, who got the second goal. Early ball in from him, dealt with by Muric before Willock could get a touch on the near post, or it could run through to Gordon on the far.
Again, that was a lovely sweep movement. It was simplistic, you know. It's not a modern day thing. That was just a slick movement down the right hand side. 2 players have gone in the box in search of the cross. You know, the cross has been taken by the goalkeeper, but it's a nice slick attacking move.
McKenna looking unhappy down below us. Clark with a header forward for Ipswich. Byrne gets there before Smodics. Tough for Smodics up there, I feel for him. Here he is on the ball. He's doing all right when he's been involved. Burns, infield to Kayuste, drags it, read by Guimaraes. The ball still went through to Hutchinson, using his low centre of gravity to great effect. Hutchinson, he's done well. Dinks the ball over the top, looking for Smodics. Smodics will keep it in play, right of centre by the byline. Back to Wes Burns. Now the flag goes up against Ipswich Town. That was unlucky. It's a nice little bit of build-up play.
Yeah, that was better. We've got to do more of that, but we're just not quite at the races, you know. If you look at all of our players, they're all just struggling to be on top of the game, and not just defenders, but the forwards. You know, they're not quite. Wes Burns has been marginal, and Sammy Smodics is struggling in that position. Amari Hutchinson has been the most untidy I've seen him in a game of football, and Connor Chaplin also is struggling to find any sort of space whatsoever.
O'Shea hands the ball out near side. The replacement ball's quickly in the hands of Anthony Gordon. He throws it to Isak, wide left. Isak outside the Ipswich Town area, gets inside the box, right of centre with those quick feet of his, holds it up well. Gordon crosses towards the far post, too much on it from Guimaraes, and Davis ducks underneath it, out for a goal kick.
Yeah, I mean, this is a good Newcastle performance, but I mean, the opening goal, without question, settled them down and sort of gave them the confidence to play in this manner. But credit to them, they've taken advantage of that, and they have been good right the way through.
Muric with a goal kick. Old style, he kicks it to the halfway line. It's back now with them from O'Shea, an open play. Muric has the ball centrally inside his area, clips it up towards Hutchinson. Tonali's all over the back of him. Hutchinson's done well to get out to Davis. Back in field to Hutchinson, who finds Burgess. Making life very difficult in midfield, Guimaraes and Tonali for Ipswich to have any joy in that area. Tonali keeping in close tabs on Hutchinson in particular. Muric with a long goal kick towards Burns. Burns is a little header down, can't quite find Chaplin. Instead it's found Anthony Gordon, loves to run with the ball. Still Gordon into the box to Isak, trying to make it 3-0. Saved by Muric. He spilt it, but then he's got it at the second attempt. It's going towards the far corner, and it's still just 2-0 to Newcastle, but they clearly feel there's more goals in this game.
Yeah, it's very comfortable for them. You know, they are sort of finding lots of spaces everywhere, whether it's sort of in midfield or in forward areas, you know, and they're enjoying it. You know, you can see the confidence that they're showing. They're not frightened in one way to make a forward run. They know that they will not be trapped.
Muric to Davis. Davis first time ball on towards Smodics. Smodics has dealt with it well. He's had to go back to Burgess in the end, but that's absolutely fine. There is Burgess looking up, reverses the pass back to Smodics on the far side. Smodics forward for Hutchinson. Lovely ball. Hutchinson, the flag has stayed down. Tonali's gone with Hutchinson wide on the left hand side. Tonali then eventually comes away with the ball. Good play from him, finding Murphy. Town did commit bodies forward. Can Newcastle hit them on the counter? Murphy's come in field. He made it 2-0. Murphy along the deck to Gordon. Back come the blue shirts from right to left. Gordon down this near side, the Newcastle left-hand side. He's held up. Infield to Guimaraes, 30 yards from goal. Gets a bit closer. His touch lets him down when he's trying to be a bit too clever, I think. Ipswich get the ball back in blue. Now it's Leif Davis. Davis bursts out of a little pocket of space, gets to the halfway line, finds Burns in a central area. Nice pick out, good play from Davis. Burns has it centrally, he's blocked off by Byrne. And the ball's back with Livramento.
Well, the pair of them did as well as possible. Leif Davis did well, Burns did well, but they had absolutely no support. And when I look back at the blue-shirted players, there was no enthusiasm to get up and help them. You know, they're just very disillusioned at the moment.
Yeah, not having de Lapp, they just lose a bit of belief, I guess, because he'd have caused problems for this Newcastle back line undoubtedly. Livramento up towards Murphy, back to Guimaraes on halfway. Morsey nips in with a challenge. The ball finds its way back to Cher. Now Tonali in the centre of the pitch. Has 9th game here in the league this season. Still without a victory at Portman Road since that win over Middlesbrough in the Premier League. This is back in April 2002. A solitary Darren Bent goal gave Ipswich Town their last Premier League win here. The moment's not likely to happen this afternoon. Hutchinson to Kayuste, but can Town get a goal back before half-time? Kayuste's coming forward. He has an option to his left-hand side. He's given the ball to Davis. Davis cutting in field, gives it to Chaplin outside the area. Chaplin finds Hutchinson back to goal. Then there is Morsey, final minute of the first half. Wes Burns on the right-hand side. 2 players in his way, Gordon and Hall. Back it goes to Harry Clark. I'm told soon how much added on time there's going to be. There'll be a few minutes. Clark in field to O'Shea, almost lost the ball. Eventually goes back to Murrich. Out it comes now to Cameron Burgess on the yellow ball, just about to cross the halfway line at the top of the centre circle. Finds Leif Davis far side. Davis with an early ball into Chaplin. Chaplin cushions it down, looking for Smodic's unlucky. It was the right idea. Newcastle read it and dealt with it. 4 minutes to be played. Largely
it was a great ball there from Leif Davis.
Guimaraes gets the better of Chaplin, just shakes him off. Now Isak picks up the ball on the halfway line, far side the Newcastle right. Tonali, his attempted scoop pass hits Kayuste. Kayuste up to Smodics, might have to go it alone, why not? Go on. Smodics inside the Newcastle area, left-footed efforts over the bar.
Yeah, and he had to do it. There was very, very little support for him. A great ball up, great collection, and very positively tries to go down the outside. He's not really trying to go past the player. He just wants to be able to see the sight of the goals, and he hits a shot. It's too high, but it's positive.
It is indeed. So we are 1 minute into the added on 4. Newcastle leading 2-0 on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Big game tomorrow in the Premier League. Leicester Wolves is a big one in terms of other struggling sides. West Ham are playing Brighton today. Crystal Palace are against Arsenal for the second time in a few days. That's at Selhurst Park at 5:30. As Murrich goes out towards Kayuste. Guimaraes wins it. Isak makes it 3-0. Suicidal from Ipswich Town at the back. Disastrous. And you have to fear that even before the half-time whistle, this game is all over. Isak will not score an easier goal all season. It's Ipswich Town 0, Newcastle United 3.
See, that is what sometimes you look at a goalkeeper and you think he definitely doesn't know what it's like to be an outfield player where you've got to make decisions and you've got to pick the right pass out. I don't know where he thought that I believe it was Kayuste that he's passed the ball to. I don't know where he thought Kayuste was going to pass the ball on to. There was nothing on. There was no back pass on. There was no way he could turn. It's suicidal stuff. Just, if you can't do something, don't do it.
Just rubbish. Awful from Ipswich Town. 3-0 before half-time. What a miserable start to the Christmas programme this is. Watching on Kieran McKenna down below us. I think it could have been worse in this first half as well. Chaplin goes back to O'Shea. Well, it's another test of character, which Ipswich Town have never lacked in recent seasons. This second half coming up, because Newcastle keep going. Why not? They're enjoying themselves here. Murphy, whose goal was sandwiched in between two from Isak. Up towards Isak. We're looking for his hat-trick in the second half. Touch forward by Morsey. Heads down in the Town crowd. On the left-hand side now, Smodics. Swadek's infield to Hutchinson. Hutchinson gets away from Gimaresh. Little drag back, Hutchinson into the area. Really good play from Hutchinson. In comes his cross out behind. Town have won the first corner kick for either side in this game.
Yeah, I was just beginning to think that it was going to be a cornerless first half, which is a real rarity, but that's the first bit of good work that Amari's done.
Swadek's on this corner kick for Ipswich Town, so a chance for them to give themselves a desperately needed lifeline before the half-time interval. And it comes from Smolik towards the far post. O'Shea's headed back into a dangerous area, cleared away by Newcastle United, out as far as Morsey. Morsey can't go forward. Crowd have got having a go about that. Here is Muric to the right-hand side, and O'Shea still playing forward in an area since that set piece. Dan Byrne then belts the ball long downfield. Isak's after it. Davis is going to get there first. His little header in a panic drops down to Isak, who's been penalised for a foul, just as he sensed a first half hat-trick there for a second.
I don't think Leaf fancied that situation, and he's sort of laying down too easily for me, and
Isak didn't do a lot wrong, did he?
Just don't do that as a defender. You've got to allow the officials to make decisions.
Well, we're 5 minutes into the added-on 4. Surely this is the final passage of play in this first half. Long kick from Muric, chested down by Cher. There is Tonali. It's a good first half, Tonali. Little reverse pass to Gimaresh. Newcastle have a player coming forward on the right-hand side. It's Murphy again. Back comes Leif Davis. He still has the ball, Jacob Murphy, outside the Ipswich Town area. Maybe a chance for another Newcastle attack. Ball into the box towards Willock. Willock holds it up, gives it back towards Bruno. A better pass. Newcastle could have been in on goal again. They might do now. Isak looking for his hat-trick. Crosses to the far stick. Gordon stretches. It's out behind. Thank goodness half-time's about to come. This has been a shocker for Ipswich Town this first half. That's it for the first half. Bit of negativity in the crowd, which is never good to hear. But comfortably behind in this game, Ipswich Town, Mick Mills.
Yeah, it's been a poor performance ever since we didn't get the VAR to our advantage. Was it onside? Was it offside? It was so marginal, and that it's so early in the game, and that's gone in Newcastle's favour. And they really took advantage of it. They are a very open team, they're a very positive team, they're a very attack-minded team, and that early goal just told them that this could be a good day, and they actually set about enjoying themselves. A lot of teams would have said, right, we've got an early lead, let's just sit back now and take stock, and sometimes that is the way to do it, but other times you search, you sort of think, yep, we've got lucky, a little bit lucky. We're 1-0 up early in the game. Let's try and make it 2. And you get that from positive teams. Well, that's what Newcastle are all about. And they have really made us struggle immensely, right the way through that half. I haven't seen anything that I've liked about Town today. And it's from the goalkeeper to the makeshift centre forward Sammy Smolik. So really, there's little bits, but everybody should be capable of producing a little bit. You've got to produce more than that, and unfortunately, it's if I use Murray Hutchinson for example, this is the most untidy I've seen him play 45 minutes of football. Sammy Morsey. Why is he trying to pass his man on so much when there are a lack of defenders to pass him on to? Poor old Harry Clark is looking inside and thinking, yeah, I'll go and do it, but I'm going to leave Gordon with acres of space, and that's going to put me in all sorts of trouble, but I'm going to have to do it for you, Sam, but I'm going to be in trouble. But Sam's got to do his own bits and pieces, he's got to track, he's got to do a man-to-man role there, but he's not doing it. Leif Davis is being too adventurous at the wrong times. We are so stretched, it's unbelievable. Bad decisions from the goalkeeper, too stretched as a back four. We haven't got the ability in the midfield, to be honest, and track people's runs. They're elementary things. And then when I look at our 4 attackers, they have been untidy. They haven't been able to get enough of the ball when they haven't produced. They've given the ball away far too easily, and really you can't say this is unlucky. This is a scoreline that's pretty much well deserved. There's been mistakes, there's been things that have gone in Newcastle's advantage, but Newcastle are streets ahead of us.
Oh, they certainly are. It's 3-0 at half-time to Newcastle United. Unbelievable.
Completely schooled and outplayed, says Trevor, who's texted in. Jay and Berry says, don't normally text at half-time, but what's going on with the town keeper? Muric has to be taken off. It's not all his fault, but yet another blunder. It's costing Town their status in the league, I'm afraid, says Jay. You can text match at any point. 81333 is the number. It's 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Start your messages with SFK. The other 2 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. Brentford 0, Nottingham Forest 1 at half-time. West Ham and Brighton are goalless. Earlier, Aston Villa 2, Manchester City 1. If we've time during our half-time break, we'll hear briefly from Pep Guardiola and Unai Emery, if not later in the programme, but we will go around the grounds locally next.
Wayne Babin at breakfast.
He doesn't come on this show very often. He's like fourth reserve. Second reserve is the cleaner. Third reserve is the bloke who works in the barbers across the way. Fourth reserve is the window cleaner, Frank. And then when we can't get anybody else, we wheel Ollie out. Has anyone ever been to Christmas to someone else's house and they have like weird stuff that they do? I remember when I was about 19, the girlfriend I was seeing at the time, Christmas Day morning, her mum went, right, come on everyone, let's go out for our walk. I'm like, what? With their rendition of Jingle Bells. Take it away, Julie and Jane.
Jingle bells, jingle all the way.
Wayne Babin at breakfast.
Weekdays from 6.
BBC Radio Suffolk.
Town 0, Newcastle 3, half-time in our main feature, I'm afraid. Looks like Ali Al-Hamadi will be on for the beginning of the second half. We'll be back with Brenna Woolley and Mick Mills for that second half on BBC Suffolk. Let's go around the grounds locally. At National League North action for Needham Market this afternoon. They're at home to Darlington. Nick Garnham's at Bloomfields.
It's Needham Market 0, Darlington 0. It's goalless here at the break, which is no surprise to those watching, as neither side has really looked like scoring. We've had just one attempt on target in the opening 45 minutes, as defences have been on top from start to finish. The first corner of the game didn't arrive until the 29th minute, when Needham's Dan Morphew was unable to stretch enough to get on the end of Watford loanee Jake Watkis's right-wing flag kick. Darlington did manufacture a couple of efforts on goal as the half drew to a close. First, in the 41st minute, defender Ben Headley drew a routine save from Needham keeper Marcus Garman with a 25-yard shot. Then, a minute later, Darlington centre-forward Jack Maskell should have done better when he glanced a header wide following a left-wing cross. He is hoping for a better second period. Half-time at the Ecologic Stadium Bloomfields, Needham Market 0, Darlington 0.
In the Southern Premier League Central Division, AFC Sudbury's match away at bottom of the table Biggleswade Town called off earlier today. Leiston are goalless away at Bishop Stortford. Gary Buttons watching Lowestoft Town at home to St Ives Town.
Half-time, Lowestoft Town 0, St Ives Town 0. It's been a good competitive first 45, considering the damp, heavy conditions. Andy Reynolds' side making a bright start in the opening exchanges. Harvey Sayer finding Kyle Haylock in the penalty area. Haylock's effort not held by the St Ives keeper Dan Wilkes. And then Harry Barbrook also had a half chance, and Haylock again after a series of corners. The visitors broke away on 17 minutes. A poor misplaced pass from defender Ruffles let in striker Josh Allen through on goal, and a good blocking save from Sam Blair in the Lowestoft goal. Allen also hit a dangerous ball across the face of the Trawler Boys goal, while Amin Bowler and Allen had further chances before half-time. Ethan Creary's flick-on header struck the Lowestoft uprights on 35 minutes, as once again the Trawler Boys goal was leading a charmed life. Sam Blair's attempt to clear that chance for the visitors has led to the recent signing having to be substituted. Reserve youngster Ronnie Yeo has replaced him in goal. St Ives should be well ahead in this match, but at half-time it's Lowestoft 0, St Ives Town 0.
Thank you, Gary. Into the Isthmian North Division. Jack McLean is watching the leaders for us this afternoon. Bury Town at home to Brightling Sea Regents.
It's Bury Town 1, Brighton and Sea Regent 1. A fast start for Bury Town as they had all the possession from the first minute. And in the third minute, an Ed Upson shot troubled the Brighton and Sea keeper, but it did end up going wide. It took until 6 minutes for the league's top scorer, Samuel Ramadan, to give Bury the lead and something to hold on to. It was a shot that came from pressure on the Essex side box. The shot turned cross from the left-hand side. side, and Mickey David's ball turned out to be the Christmas present that Ramadan needed as he turned it in at the far post past the Essex stopper. The game then petered out for a bit until the 22nd minute when the equaliser came. Bury played themselves into trouble when they were playing it around at the back. A loose pass from Joe White landed at the feet of Brighton Sea attacker Teddy Collis, who then dinged it over young keeper Killick Green. 1-1, and the Essex side were on the front foot, where in the next 5 minutes afterwards they hit the woodwork no more than 3 times. Look, it's been a half where Bury Town have struggled to control it and Brighton and Sea have been on top, but they haven't made that pressure tell. Cole Scouse was clearly frustrated with what he was seeing as substitute Ryan Jollard was getting ready to come on for his side in the 38th minute. He chose not to put him on in the end, but changes are incoming at the break. At the break here at Round Meadow, it's Bury Town 1, Brighton and Sea Regent 1.
So as things stand at a point this afternoon for Bury Town, Jack McLean watching that one at the Denny Brothers Stadium. Felixstowe Walter United, second at the table, currently trailing 1-0 away at Galston this afternoon. Mildenhall Town are 1-1 away at Sporting Bangor United. Ben Nolan opening the scoring for the Hall before the home side levelled. It's Haringey Borough 1, Newmarket Town 0 at half-time, and Ipswich Wanderers currently goalless with Concord Rangers at Humberducy Lane. Couple from the Thurlow Nunn-League in the Premier Division, Brantham Athletic leading Harleston 1-0. At Woodbridge are behind 1-0 at Downham Town. Walsh and the Willows 0-0 with Dereham. In the First Division North, result from last night, Haverhill Rovers going 14 points clear at the top of the division with a 2-0 win at home to Witton United. Let's talk Premier League. We'll be back at Portman Road shortly for the second half of Ipswich Town versus Newcastle United. The Magpies 3-0 up at half-time if you just joined us. It's now 9 defeats from their last 12 games in all competitions for the defending Premier League champions, Manchester City. They lost 2-1 away to Aston Villa in the lunchtime kick-off. John Duran opened the scoring at Villa Park after 16 minutes, and Morgan Rogers doubled the lead after the break. Phil Foden got one back in stoppage time. The City manager Pep Guardiola said his side played well in spells during the match.
We played a really good half. First half, part of the mistake in the first actions, but I think we played a really good first half. And the second we dropped, we were not good. The way we pressed were more effective. We could drop them quick. We bring the ball in the final third in much better positions than we did it in the second half. And after the tempo when the game goes on is a little bit more difficult. And congratulate Aston Villa for the victory.
Do you feel you've identified and are dealing with the reasons why you're in this run of form and seeing signs on the pitch and on training that the end of this sequence is coming? Because it must come, surely. You're Manchester City.
Yeah, it can come, it cannot come. So it depends on us and the opponents and the results. I know the solution is, bring the players back. So we have just one central defender, I would say, fit, and that is more difficult. Our consistency in both sides. But we're going to try next game, another opportunity, and don't think much further than that. The recovery well, rest, and try to do it.
Pep Guardiola speaking after Aston Villa 2, Manchester City 1 in the Premier League's lunchtime kick-off today. Unai Emery's Villa go above City in the Premier League table.
We play 90 minutes more or less in the way we were expecting. We started in transition scoring 1 goal. We had some corners as well and chances to score. And then progressively the first half they were imposing, dominating the match. They were pushing us, defending very low, more than we wanted. And they created 1 or 2 chances and we saved it through Emiliano Martinez. And then the second half we started again dominating more than the first half, not only in transition. Even when we were keeping ball possession, we were avoiding their press. And in the second half, I think we played better, like I want here, to try to impose and dominate with the positioning. Of course, against Manchester City it's been very difficult, and the first half happened it. But the second half, I think, more or less, we were playing and getting confidence to dominate, to play keeping ball possession, and as well creating chances and avoiding their chances, because I think the second half, progressively, we impose and we deserved to win through our domination of them.
Happy Unai Emery after Aston Villa 2, Manchester City 1 earlier today. Few more texts have come our way. This from Andy in Woodbridge. Kieran McKenna talks all the time about improving small margins. Muric in goal was a bad signing. Continually playing him's even worse. I reckon he's cost the team 9 points this season. Christian Walton must wonder what he's got to do to get a game. Richard in Hesset says, my Geordie mate says the first goal is offside. We appear to be getting a rough deal from VAR. And this from Dave. Don't be too hard on Ipswich. These are the kind of games we can learn things from. Nobody expects us to get points from a team such as Newcastle with all the money they've spent. We need to get points from the Evertons, the Crystal Palaces. But this is a tough league. Tottenham was a bonus. Wolverhampton Wanderers was a must. Let's just keep positive and come out and win the second half, which is next.
Did you miss the BBC Radio Suffolk Carol concert at the Apex in Bury St Edmunds? Don't worry, because have we got a Christmas gift for you? We planned ahead and recorded the evening. On Christmas Eve at midday, with another chance on Christmas Day itself and then Boxing Day at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, it's your chance to hear the highlights of the Carol concert, featuring the Newmarket Community Choir, the Suffolk Concert Band, Ralph Taylor and the Great Heath Academy School Choir. So make sure you get in the festive spirit and listen to the BBC Radio Suffolk Carol concert this Christmas. And of course you can listen again on BBC Sounds. Happy Christmas.
It's match day on BBC Radio Suffolk. Let's rejoin Mick Mills and Brenna Woolley at Portman Road, where Kieran McKenna has made a change.
Yeah, he has, Graham. Ali Al-Hamidi is going to get the whole of the second half in place of Amari Hutchinson. So Town will line up with Muric in yellow off to our right-hand side. A back four of Harry Clark, O'Shea, Burgess, Davis. That's Morsey the captain and Kayuste. Then it will be Burns, Chaplin, Smodix in support of Al-Hamidi. On the bench, Walton, Jack Clark, Johnston, Phillips, Broadhead, Townsend, Taylor and Greaves. Newcastle United have got Dubravka in all green in front of the Sir Bobby Robson stand off to our left. It's back for Livramento, Share, Byrne and Hall. The three in midfield have been very impressive, two of them in particular, Tonali and Gamaresh. Also in there, Willock. Isaac through the middle's got 2 goals. Murphy off to his right has got 1. Gordon plays to the left-hand side of that front three. Vlachodimos is the sub-keeper. Trippier, Barnes, Target, Osula, Almiron, Kelly, Longstaff and Miley. What do you make of that change, Mick Mills?
Yeah, I think I would have gone for 4 changes, to be perfectly honest, because I think we need a lift from somewhere. Let's hope the people in the dressing room have been able to motivate our boys into. I think this is, for me, blood and thunder. It's got to be blood and thunder this half, and no two ways about it. It's got to be total and utter commitment from everybody, and I just wondered if we had freshened it up by about 4 different players, that would have been the best. But certainly Ali Al-Hamidi was a definite one to come on at half-time.
Let's see if this is going to be a case of damage limitation or whether Ipswich Town can get a foothold at some point, maybe in the next 15-20 minutes. A lot might depend on Newcastle United's attitude and fitness. Blowy at Portman Road. You can see the white shirts of Newcastle flapping around. They're getting the second half underway, playing from left to right against the blue with the white pinstripes of Ipswich Town. At least that heavy rain in the first half has disappeared. Definitely having an impact on the pitch. Here is Livramento near side. The Newcastle right gives it to Murphy. Back to Livramento. Does like to get forward from full back. Byrne. You're going to have to wait till at least the Chelsea game for Ipswich Town's first home win of the season. A realistic prospect, given how well Chelsea are doing, that Town will get to the turn of the year without a victory on this pitch. Here is Share forward towards Murphy. Got the better of the opposing number 23, Smodix. Probably feel more comfortable off to the left-hand side. Real opportunity for Ali Al-Hamidi here. Nothing to lose as well, Ali Al-Hamidi. Here is Gordon. Of course, Delap will be back and available for Arsenal on Friday. It's probably worth clarifying that when all said and done, was a 1-game ban, Liam Delap, because there was so much confusion as to whether he'd even got a 5th yellow at Wolves last week. Took almost till tea time Monday for absolute clarity. Infield from Tonali, O'Shea into set. Chaplin loses the ball. Anthony Gordon gives it to Isaac. Isaac gives it away to Davis. Davis's first touch is too heavy. Isaac's back there in midfield with those long legs of his, but they're not long enough to keep the ball in on the stretch underneath us. A little bit scruffy from the Swede. Eddie Howe pointing just directly below Leif Davis. Burgess infield to O'Shea. Very pleased with his week's work so far, the former Bournemouth manager. Celebrated 3 years in charge of Newcastle recently, the 12th manager since Sir Bobby Robson had a successful spell in his native northeast. Finished 4th just the season before last Newcastle. A lot of these players were in that side as well. That's the task facing Ipswich Town, or always was this afternoon. It's going to be a really tough game, this one, their final match before Christmas. Morsey to Burgess. Burgess gives it away, intercepted by Share. Newcastle coming forward. Share with the ball infield, came off the heels of Murphy, and then he's nudged down. Share gets back up to his feet against Smodix. The referee plays an advantage. He's trying to find Willock in a threatening position. Share with the initial pass. Back to the halfway line, and Byrne. Very quiet Portman Road at the moment. Dan Byrne, all 6'6" of him, gives it to Livramento. Newcastle with about 90% of the possession in this first 3 minutes of the second half. The crowd trying to lift Ipswich Town. Another good attendance, north of 29,000. So you'll have full commentary of all of those games over the Christmas period. Arsenal, Chelsea, and then Fulham at the start of the new year. Here is a Swiss international Share up towards Isak of Sweden. O'Shea wins it in the air to Smodix. Smodix gets it back to Leif Davis. Davis finds Kiyuste. Lovely turn from Kiyuste. Runs into trouble if trying to get away from Tonali and Guimaraes. Also Willock. All three Newcastle midfielders in on that Jens Kiyuste.
Yeah, initially it was a great bit of control and turn, but he was hounded by three players, as you say.
Kiyuste goes back to Dara O'Shea in a Burnley side that lost 4-1 to Newcastle last season. Here is Cameron Burgess looking forward, but just spreading play to Davis underneath us. He runs up the halfway line, plays the ball to the centre spot. Chaplin tries to get Al-Hamadi in behind. Al-Hamadi is in behind, edge of the area. Still Ali Al-Hamadi. Ali Al-Hamadi for Ipswich Town, left-footed shot blocked. Comes out to Kiyuste. That was a sight of goal initially for the Iraqi. Eventually got his shot away, but by that time there were white shirts in front of him. Morsey towards Smodix. Back it goes to Sam Morsey. Morsey square to Harry Clark. 4 minutes on the clock in the second half. Still 3-0 Newcastle. Where's Burns? Couple of step overs. Left-footed cross. Good one. No, headed away by Livramento. Look, decent delivery from his left boot, the Welshman. And as far as Burgess. Burgess gives it to Leif Davis. Little drag back. Infield to Kiyuste. Kiyuste pings it back to Cameron Burgess live on BBC Radio Suffolk Sport. Burgess's attempted pass is dealt with by Newcastle. Town win it back. Kiyuste to Davis. Back in field to number 12, Kiyuste. Now Morsey changes direction. Morsey along the deck, finding Leif Davis. Davis with the ball into the box. The on-rushing Kiyuste. Unlucky. It's the right idea. It's a good run from Kiyuste. Unlucky that Davis didn't quite pick him out.
Yeah, it's a nice sequence of play, and it started by Ali Al-Hamadi getting into probably the best position a forward has got into for us this afternoon, and he possibly should have done a little bit better, but you know, we picked up possession again, and it was some good possession, and it forced Newcastle back momentarily.
Backheel from Smodix when Town had a chance of winning possession. Didn't work out. Willock has harried off the ball. Al-Hamadi to Chaplin. Chaplin gets the edge of the Newcastle box. Lots of work to be done. Couldn't do it. Tonali nicked it off of him. Wins a lot of possession. Sandro Tonali. Gordon, nice change of direction. Isak, lovely ball to Hall on the overlap. This is good from Newcastle. In comes his ball towards Guimaraes. Oh, he's hit the post with a great header. What a goal that would have been from Newcastle.
Yeah, it was a terrific bit of play. I thought that we were sort of made just one little error up in the attacking half, and they broke really well, and that was a terrific cross and a good header.
Would have been a brilliant goal from Newcastle, and certainly game over at 4-0. 6 minutes gone in the second half. To have your say afterwards. Match days on air until 6 o'clock. Call 0800 141 2121 to chat to Graham and Mick, or text 81333. Start those messages. SFK. WhatsApp 08000 321 333 again. Start those with SFK. Al-Hamadi to Burns, and hear about goals elsewhere in a moment. Al-Halamidi's had a few touches so far and done all right in the second half. Ball's out far side. Let's go back to Graham.
Yeah, Brighton now ahead at West Ham, and Nottingham Forest have doubled their lead at Brentford, who've got such good home form this season.
Wow, that is a surprise. As O'Shea has the ball in centre field for Ipswich in blue. Looks towards Kiyuste. Guimaraes is straight on him, as these Newcastle midfielders always are when a blue shirt gets the ball centrally. Back to Muric. Muric fires his clearance, looking towards Burns. Heads it infield, got there ahead of Hall. Byrne brings it down in the central area. It goes back to Dubravka. Dubravka out to his right side, and Cher. Now Livramento, ball down the line to Murphy. Murphy's little layoff reaches Kiyuste. Kiyuste's done well for Ipswich Town. Now Chapman picks up the pieces outside the Newcastle area. Prods it back to Burgess on the left-hand side. Leif Davis. Town trying to change the complexion of this game with a goal back at 3-0. Here is Kiyuste once again, exchanging short passes with Morsey, but not going anywhere. Now Davis has it. The ball's on halfway with Burgess, has to get there ahead of Isak. That was loose from Davis. Livramento now has it for Newcastle. Tonali with a switch of play towards Gordon. Gordon brings it down in his right instep, with Harry Clark right behind him. Now Newcastle go back via Byrne to Cher. 8 gone in the second half. Here is Sandro Tonali once again, finding Livramento, infield to Murphy, back to Livramento, in towards Guimaraes in the centre of the field, forward to Gordon. Nice play this from Newcastle. Gordon to Isak. Isak carries it on. Burgess gets in the way. Murphy picks it up. Murphy for Newcastle inside the Ipswich area. Murphy's still got the ball. Little back heel inside. Isak with his hat-trick chance and scores. It's a treble for the Swedish international. He becomes the second player to score a hat-trick against Ipswich Town this season, and this game is dead and buried. All 3 points heading back to the northeast. We've only played 9 minutes in the second half, and already it's Ipswich Town 0, Newcastle United 4.
Well, it should never have happened. They're in good control of the ball on this right-hand side. They work it infield, but we've got so many numbers there, and then when they've tried that little backheel ball, it should never have gone to anybody. You know, this is awful defending. How many blue shirts do we want back there?
Nice improvised prodded finish from Isak. 4-0 the last time they won here, Newcastle. 4-0 this afternoon. The worrying thing is we've still got another 36 minutes of football to go.
We've totally and utterly lost our belief. I've never seen us do this under Kieran McKenna. I really haven't. You know, we don't believe in what we're doing. We're just a mile away from the whole game.
As part of that, not having Delap, not having that outlet, not having that belief when they go forward that something might happen.
Well, it doesn't help. You know, I mean, it doesn't help the situation. And what Liam Delap does, you know, when you see him battering people and, you know, fighting sort of lost causes, it can have an impact all round the team, you know, but we haven't got that today. We've had to really sort of cope playing a different way, but just generally, I keep going back to that early start. Newcastle got the rub of the green, but they took advantage of it, and we sort of never really have laid a glove on Newcastle.
Totally out of their depth today. Kieran McKenna's just had a word with Jack Clark and Calvin Phillips. Here is that Cher. Well, it is damage limitation now. It's certainly another home defeat for Ipswich Town. Morsey's touch is heavy. Ball out far side. Kieran McKenna puffs his cheeks out down below us. Not how he would have wished to celebrate 3 years in charge. Last Monday was that anniversary. Through far side to Newcastle United towards Anthony Gordon. He'll be keen to get in on the goal scoring act. He gives the ball to Guimaraes, through the middle from Guimaraes. Newcastle have got goal side again inside the area. Real chance for Wellick. He has to score, and he's lifted it over the bar. Oh, what an opportunity for Newcastle to make it 5.
Well, Willock is the one that is causing us, very quietly, causing us all sorts of problems. He's the one that is making the runs between Dara O'Shea and Harry Clark. And poor old Harry Clark has to come in and take him, because Sam Morsey will not stay with him. He refuses to stay with the man he's playing against. and it's causing our back four enormous problems.
Jack Taylor, I think, is coming on for Ipswich Town as well. He's looking at the iPad under the watchful gaze of Mark Hudson. I don't think this is going to happen, but I did notice that last season Newcastle beat Sheffield United 8-0, one of the newly promoted sides. 4 here, and judging by that last attack, they're hungry for more goals at Newcastle United. Willock's an upper body problem, seems to be his left shoulder, I think, just the way that he fell and slipped after that challenge, which thankfully was enough to put him off. Well, it's been worth the early start, the long journey for those Newcastle fans over on the far side. Calvin Phillips is coming on as well for Ipswich Town. So definite changes in midfield. He needs to do something, doesn't he, Mick?
Yeah, very much so. And you know, you tend to look at both ends of the pitch defensively and in attack to think that's where the problems are. But if you haven't got that midfield to knit those two sections together, then you've got no chance. And our midfield has been sort of pretty woeful. I think Cajuste has done some reasonably good things in tight situations, but generally speaking, that threesome of Morsey, Cajuste and Connor Chaplin has just not been at the races at all.
No, they haven't. Well, changes are afoot. Although at the moment it's a Newcastle midfielder who's wincing and coming off the field down below us, but I think he's going to be okay. They would bring on Sean Longstaff if he had to make a change. Eddie Howe will be very happy with what he's seen from his side against a potentially tricky away game off the back of the cup exertions in the week. So Taylor and Phillips.
What is he doing?
As Aaron Murray seems to have lost his concentration a little bit. This is a heck of a way to go into Christmas, this is, for Ipswich Town. Here is O'Shea, gives the ball to Morsey. Bruno's on to him, Guimaraes should have said. There is Clark, belting the ball down the far touchline over the top of Hall. Headed down by Dan Byrne. Lewis Hall's back on the ball. There is Byrne, belting it long, former Brighton player. Headed in field by O'Shea. Gordon's going to go after this. Burgess has to get there because Murray had got stranded. Burgess clears away from Gordon. There is Smodics with a header, but it drops down towards Willock. Back on the field, he nods it to Livramento. Back under the chest of Willock. They're making Town players chase around at the back. Al-Hamidi closes down Cher, but the ball squirts out to the goalkeeper, Dubravka. Changes likely from the Newcastle bench as well. Understandably resting a few. This game's won as far as they're concerned.
They're actually playing the game almost at walking pace.
Yeah, it's like pre-season friendly. I said that at half-time in some senses. It's like one of these games you see pre-season for Newcastle against a lower league side. Sloppy from Newcastle, but then Town didn't make anything of it. That was a chance for Cajuste to find Al-Hamidi. Tried to do it the first time ball, didn't work out. So opportunity's been bypassed. There is Murphy, gives the ball to Guimaraes. One back by Leif Davis. Davis loses it though, gives it straight to Tonali. So Isak with a hat-trick, Murphy with a goal. That's why Town trail this game by 4-0. Tonali towards Guimaraes. Town nowhere near the level of Newcastle United this afternoon. There'll be no excuses, there'll be honesty from Kieran McKenna, I'm sure, post-match. Hard watch for Ipswich Town supporters here. Tonali towards Byrne, and of course Arsenal and Chelsea to follow. Infield Tonali gives it to Cher. Newcastle just passing it around at will at the back. Longstaff certainly one of those players coming on. I think Harvey Barnes, goodness me, he's a flying winger that can score and create goals. Is about to come on for either Murphy or Gordon. Livramento in slides Smodics. Livramento gets the better of him though. He's strong, Livramento, good player, the right back. Here he is once again. Both he and Hall, former Academy Players of the Year at Chelsea. Similar backgrounds, the two of them. Murphy behind Livramento, tried to pick him up. Morsey gets the ball on the edge of his area, gives it to Cajuste. Back it goes to Davis, closed down by Willock. Willock carries on the ball, but the referee says literally, so it's a handball. So lots of changes now. Kieran Trippier is also coming on for Newcastle. Triple change for them. Cajuste is going off to be replaced by Phillips. Town have got to get him in the team on a regular basis, Phillips. And Chaplin is being replaced by Taylor. Town with an extra body in midfield for the time being.
Yeah, and we need that. We really do. It's a real luxury today to have a number 10 when your two other midfield players are being absolutely overrun.
Yeah.
You know?
This has to be the moment that Phillips gets himself back in the team and stays there, surely. He's got to step up. A player that can certainly perform at this level. Town need him. Here is Burgess. Burgess to Phillips, who goes back to Muric, who Newcastle did actually want to take on loan last January when he went to West Ham. They were very keen on Calvin Phillips, but just couldn't do the deal, largely down to finances, as crazy as that might sound. And they are one of the richest clubs in the world, Newcastle, but have to play by the PSR rules like everyone else. Here is Livramento down below us. 4-0 Newcastle lead, 70 minutes gone in the second off BBC Radio Suffolk. Isak to Guimaraes. What a ball from Guimaraes to Gordon. 1-on-1 with Clark. This could be number 5. Anthony Gordon. It's a really tame effort straight at Muric. That was some pass to find him.
Yeah, it was a good pass, but you know, Harry Clark's positioning, why does he come infield so much?
Burns running with the ball far side for Ipswich Town. Ball's taken off them really well by Hall. That was brilliant defending from the left back. Here is Guimaraes, finds Gordon. Gordon in field to Isak. Isak trying to be too clever there. Should have controlled the ball. Good ball from Smodics. Well played. Wes Burns on the right hand side, running it Tonali back in the left back slot. Burns with a left footed shot which goes wide. Worth a go though.
Better.
Little spark of action there from Burns.
That was better, you know, picked up the ball, got it out to Wes Burns, and we've attacked with a bit of adventure and a bit of pace, and we got a shot away as well.
So Livramento will be replaced by Trippier, as expected. Other alterations. Murphy is going to be going off and being replaced by Barnes. Well, that's no respite whatsoever for Leif Davis, because Barnes is a heck of a player. And Longstaff will come into the midfield in place of Joe Willock. So Isak is still staying on, even though he's got his hat-trick. Hasn't really weakened Newcastle greatly. There's 3 changes. Just past the hour mark as well on BBC Radio Suffolk Sports. So Friday night, we'll have full match commentary. Mick and myself from the Emirates Stadium. First time Town have been there in the league. And then a week on Monday, Chelsea come here as we reach the midway point of this Premier League season. That's with Dubravka, who had a loan at Manchester United really randomly last season from Newcastle. Here is Byrne playing it out to Guimaraes. Little layoff to Hall, far side. He's caught from behind Guimaraes, who's gone down holding his leg. And it's a yellow card for Sam Morsey, who will not be at Arsenal on Friday night. So there's Calvin Phillips back in the starting lineup, one would have thought. Sam's got Christmas off.
I'm just looking at it now.
Caught his right foot, I think, his right heel. Yeah, that's the boot that Guimaraes is putting back on. So Sam, who's been on 4 yellow cards for a little while, and we were getting to the cut-off point, but that's number 5. So as I say, that's one change at the Emirates Stadium. Hutchinson, the other player, incidentally, on 4 yellows now that Delap and Morsey have got their 5th. Guimaraes towards Tonali. Nice way about them in the centre of the park. Kieran McKenna looking on. Long forward ball from Cher. We'll hear from Kieran before 6 o'clock on match day. Headed on by Phillips towards Taylor. Taylor lifts it forward to Al Hamidi. All the substitutes involved. Good challenge from Cher. A few Town fans had the hump, but there's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. Longstaff to Guimaraes. Out to the right-hand side, looking for Trippier. A great servant to Newcastle United and indeed England, Kieran Trippier. Smodics goes back to Muric. Muric passes it out to Taylor. Taylor tucks it square to the right-back area where O'Shea finds himself. Still more than a quarter of this game to go. There is Taylor, turns in midfield. Looks forward towards Al Hamidi. Al Hamidi heads it up for himself. He's going to battle for it, but it's won by Longstaff. Newcastle United for a long time, Sean Longstaff.
He's done all right, Al Hamidi.
He has, hasn't he?
Yeah, you know, he's just doing his best, and you know, he's giving the defenders a little bit more of a problem than they had first half.
Barnes up against Burgess, former Leicester player. Back to Longstaff. Longstaff with a lovely crossfield ball. Inch perfect for Gordon. Nicely taken down. Gamaresh inside the area. Tries a snapshot off the outside of his right boot, trying to catch Muric out. It's blocked off O'Shea. And Newcastle have their first corner kick.
Yeah, they're just playing very comfortably, Newcastle, as you can imagine, and they're pretty much, even like now, there's no urgency about them. They're just walking, they're just going through the motions. They're just enjoying the afternoon.
22 minutes gone in the second half, so at the midway point of the second half, final quarter of the game approaches. Newcastle lead 4-0. Gordon pulls back this corner to Hall. Hall gives it back to Gordon. Right-footed, jabs it towards the far stick. Byrne recycles it with a header into the middle, nodded away by Burgess. The shot is volleyed high over the bar by Barnes.
Yeah, I mean, that was a raking cross that was in the air a long time, and it found a Newcastle player trying to keep it in play, and there was no Town player who was disputing the ball. And then when he kept it in play, it then became possible that they might engineer a chance. You know, it's almost like we're just playing in a very disillusioned state.
Muric. His clearance goes straight downfield. Tonali gets there and loops it back to Dubravka. Dubravka controls it on the edge of his area and floats it out to the right. And Trippier, very comfortable for Newcastle United. How about their business very well. Ipswich Town taught a bit of a lesson here at Portman Road this afternoon. Dubravka goes out towards Byrne. Back it goes to Byrne. Byrne now looks forward with his pass to Anthony Gordon, gets away from Burns, comes in field, gives it away. Gordon straight to Smodics, poor from him, well done by Smodics, driving forward. Sam Smodics edge of the air, back comes Trippier. Given away, not quite by Newcastle this time. I thought it was loose from Cher, but Newcastle get it back, and here's Longstaff. Town understandably lacking in belief. Barnes to Tonali. Tonali up towards Gamaresh, well intercepted by Phillips. O'Shea's attempt to pass forward, I think hits Morsey, comes back to Burgess. Here is Sam Morsey towards Jack Taylor. Great header from him last week that won the game at Wolves. He's given it out to Burns on the right-hand side. Burns attacking Hall. Attempting a cross blocked off by Hall. And the ball has stayed in. The spin of it has prevented it going out. Eventually, Hall shields it off the pitch. And it's a goal kick to Newcastle United.
Yeah, we just haven't got it in us to sort of create anything today. You know, just we've been second best pretty much from about the first 5 or 6 minutes, really. Well, as soon as Newcastle took advantage of that early lead and played very positively, we really have been second best.
Electronic advertising boards advertising Ipswich Town women against Plymouth here on the 23rd of March. Hope that's not Ipswich Town's first home win of the season. Burns infield to Al-Hamadi, that left from him to the right, and Taylor loses his footing and the ball's out for a throw to Newcastle at left back. Hall is going to be taken. He has had a good game. He's looked the part, Lewis Hall. Didn't play an awful lot last season, his first season there while he was on loan. Ipswich win the ball on the right-hand side. Al-Hamadi bursting into the area, tries to get to the byline. He's done well, Al-Hamadi. He's won a corner kick off Byrne.
Yeah, he has done well. You know, he was our most natural sort of choice to make with the absence of our two key strikers. Kieran decided to go the other way with Sammy Smodics, but it's seeing this now in the second half, he possibly should have been the choice, really. He's more natural. He's doing quite well.
Cliff Davis jogging across to the join of the Sir Bobby Robson stand and the Cobbold stand, far left corner as we look at things here with Ipswich Town's second corner kick of the game. We're into the final 20 minutes at Portman Road. Town trying to get at least a consolation goal. 4-0 behind to Newcastle, and it swings from Davis to the far post, headed down by Burgess, might get another bite at it. No, walloped away by Hall. And a touch on this near side of the field. Miguel Almiron about to come on for the visitors. Wide player in attack. Morsey closed down by Gamaresh. Clark spreads a nice ball out to the left-hand side, and Smodics back to Calvin Phillips. Phillips plays a diagonal ball across the field. Not sure that was the intended target, but it's found Burns. Burns tries to turn it back. Comes off the leg of Gordon. Cleared away by Newcastle. It won't turn into a pass for Gordon. And it's gone out just as Nathan Broadhead goes for a little jog near side. Boucher finds Morsey on the centre spot. Morsey up to Al-Hamadi. Al-Hamadi's crowded out, but he's done phenomenally well, taken on and beaten 4 players. Al-Hamadi, edge of the area, shot blocked, might come back to him. No, not this time. He's done really, really well there.
Yeah, super play. Super play. Positive, confident.
Phillips to Morsey. Morsey in the centre of the Newcastle United half. Clark gives it back to Burgess. Burgess turns it to the left side. Phillips, a couple of touches to get it under control. The number 8 Luke's infield, then tries the switch of play over the top of Gordon. It's inch perfect for Burns, but at least said about his first touch, the better. Newcastle have a throw in, and on will come Almiron for what the final 18 minutes or so of this game, and he's going to be replacing Alexander Isak, the Geordie's hat-trick hero. Harvey Barnes's going to go centrally, or perhaps Anthony Gordon might go centrally and Harvey Barnes down the left, because Almiron's very much a right-sided player. As you'd expect, Isak is coming off at snail's pace. He's done his job. He's gone from 8 goals to 11 for the season. With that prodded second-half finish, it's a handshake from Eddie Howe, Jason Tindall and the rest of the coaching staff underneath us.
Yeah, it's a good return.
Newcastle have the ball with Tonali, belted away by Byrne to Trippier, edge of his area. Trippier controls it down to Cher. Cher gets it to Longstaff. Newcastle a little bit risky at the back, but with a 4-goal cushion you can afford that, I guess. Here is Almiron, very popular player amongst the Newcastle fans. Dubravka inside his 6-yard area, closed down by Smodics, gets it out to Dan Byrne, and now it's with Hall. Newcastle with the bulk of the possession in this second half, the only goal of it as well. Newcastle 3-0 at half-time, now 4-0 on BBC Radio Suffolk. Given away by Newcastle. Harry Clark on the far side for Ipswich. Too much on that pass. Out behind, goal kick off the floor to the visitors.
Very difficult circumstances to keep going. It really is. 4-0 down at home, having not played at all well. No excuses. To keep going is difficult.
Up towards Anthony Gordon, who might be the one that's playing the central role. Back to Murrich. Murrich passes it out to Clark. Ooh, Clark almost gave it to Barnes. Cam got a bit of good fortune there. There is Morsey inside his half. Longstaff is going to go and close down Phillips. Phillips plays it to Burgess. 16 to go. Al-Hamadi's first touch is a bit heavy, but Davis has got the ball. Not for long. He's given it in field to Tonali. Now with Trippier. Trippier back via Tonali to Dubravka. He's now 34. Kieran Trippier, more than 500 career games. Played for Town against Barnsley. Played for Barnsley whilst on loan at Man City early on in his career. Since been at Tottenham and Atletico Madrid, numerous England caps. Here is Morsey. Gordon's having a nibble, but Morsey holds on to the ball. Still has it in midfield, not going anywhere, but at least he's keeping a hold of it. Phillips against Longstaff, can't go forward. Phillips plays the ball up the halfway line to Clark on the far side. Burns is upended. It's a throw though to Newcastle United. Nathan Broadhead's about to come on.
Really good, couldn't get free of them there, could we?
No.
There were very few options on where to pass the ball. We had to go round the back of the pitch, and every time we passed the ball, somebody was closed down.
Newcastle United with Guimaraes in a position just in front of the back four. Passes it up towards Almiron, the Paraguayan. Trippier's given it back to Almiron. Talk that he might move on in the January transfer window. Al-Hamadi into the back of Guimaraes. That's going to be a yellow card. Totally needless from Ali Al-Hamadi to do that. Daft caution for him. Stuart Atwell straight on him for that. Just showing some frustration, the Ipswich Town striker.
Oh, yeah, it's totally unnecessary. It's late.
He's had a few words with Cher about something. Fellow scouser Anthony Gordon is also just telling him to walk away. Guimaraes still arguing with Al-Hamadi over the challenge. It's a Newcastle free kick inside their half. Broadhead and Johnson about to come on for some extra minutes for Ipswich Town. Final 14 minutes of this game, which is fairly lifeless at the moment, it has to be said. Let's hope for better joy for Ipswich Town at the Emirates Stadium on Friday. What a tall order that's going to be. Looking forward to seeing how Arsenal compare to the likes of Liverpool and Manchester City, we've already seen this season. Guimaraes gets the better of Phillips. Hall to the left-hand side. Barnes for Newcastle inside the Ipswich Town area. Barnes with a cross to the far stick, just too high for Almiron. Goal kick to Muric.
Yeah, I think he would have been offside as well in the end, but you know, this is a real drag, it really is. You know, we're bringing another couple of subs on to see what we can do.
Smodix is going off, getting a warm round of applause, to be replaced by Nathan Broadhead, and Burns is going to be replaced by Johnson. 13 to go. Let's hope it doesn't get any worse for Ipswich Town. Back here for Chelsea a week on Monday the 30th. That's another evening game. Arsenal, incidentally, is a 8:15 kick-off on the 27th. We'll have start the build-up after 6 o'clock on match night. Muric, right-footed, straight downfield, dealt with by Byrne. Morsey gets on it ahead of Guimaraes. Remember, Morsey won't be at Arsenal. Morsey to Broadhead. Broadhead's first touch of the game is a good one. Al-Hamidi inside the area now, off to our left-hand side. Gives it back to Broadhead. Broadhead tries to pick his spot, saved by Dubravka. Needed some help from a colleague to clear it away. That was a very, very bright introduction from Nathan Broadhead.
Yeah, it was. It was a cracking shot too.
Morsey, crossfield ball looking for Johnson. Back goes Hall. Hall's dragged down, is he? Yes, he is. Decision given against Ben Johnson. Hall's holding his right Achilles. Felt that one from the Ipswich Town substitute. Lewis Miley is about to come on to play his first Premier League minutes since March. Very talented 18-year-old midfielder. Played a little bit against Chelsea in the League Cup earlier on this season. It's been out, 9 months with an injury before that, the number 67. Played a lot of football for a 17-year-old last year at the highest level, and more than held his own. 79 on the clock. Two clubs have been on it. Two teams have been on different levels this afternoon at Portman Road. It's going to be a free kick which Dubravka is taking. Signs that one or two fans, Ipswich Town fans, are disappearing off. O'Shea wins a header against Gordon. Al-Hamidi battling. Played forward by Trippier, out to the far side Gordon. Don't know who's going to be man of the match in this one for Ipswich Town. That's an interesting shout. Maybe Nathan Broadhead after the last 2 minutes, I don't know. Ali Al-Hamidi's possibly as much as anyone in the reckoning. Miley is going to be coming on for Bruno Guimaraes. Absolutely adored by the Newcastle fans. As you can probably hear, he waves to them far side. Hands the armband to Kieran Trippier. 29,774 watching this game. You're listening to it live on BBC Radio Suffolk. Afterwards, 0800 141 2121 if you want to chat to Graham and Mick. Or text 81333. Start those messages SFK. WhatsApp 08000 321 333. Also start those with SFK. Or if you want to get in touch with me on the Blue Hour, the final one of the year, on Monday night between 6 and 7, brenner@bbc.co.uk is the email address. BRENNER@bbc.co.uk. Look forward to hearing from you between 6 and 7 on Monday. Sadly, talking about a defeat though. Trippier clips the ball forward, headed off the edge of his area by Burgess. Gordon's down far side for Newcastle. Play continues with Al-Hamidi taking on all comers. Broadhead tries to win it to Tonali. Back towards Byrne. There is Cher. And Trippier gets the ball back towards Dubravka. Has made a couple of saves in this match, the Czech, but fairly comfortable really. Here is Cher. Once again came from Spanish football when he joined Newcastle. Cher with a lovely ball forward. Clark's header finds O'Shea. Johnson back to Clark. Those two working in tandem far side. Morsey on his chest. Infield to Taylor. Taylor almost allows Almiron a sniff of the ball. Taylor gets it back on the halfway line. He's done well. Johnson for Town. Obviously nice and fresh, having just come on. O'Shea, lovely spot, picks out a pass to Broadhead running forward. Nathan Broadhead for Ipswich Town. Little ball to Al-Hamidi inside the box. Still Ali Al-Hamidi on his right side, shoots, but it's sliced out wide.
Yeah, you just tend to think there Broadhead did superbly well, and then Al-Hamidi should have just passed it on to Leif Davis, who's down his outside, and he would have had a shot, with a clear shot, would have been a bit of a tight angle, but he would have had a great sighting of goals.
He is almost genuinely a shout for Town's man of the match, Ali Al-Hamidi. I'm genuinely thinking around who's been playing the whole match, who's on there now. It's wow, it's a difficult one. It's 8 minutes to go. Lots and lots of people departing early, perhaps their Christmas drinks. Clark heads it to Johnson. Newcastle lead 4-0. Johnson to the centre spot, goes back to Cameron Burgess. He finds Leif Davis. Davis straight in field, but straight to Miley. That was a bizarre pass. Trippier almost gets it back to Miley. Morsey steps in and wins it. Davis, this time he does find a blue shirt, and Nathan Broadhead running over halfway. Broadhead tried to squeeze the ball through to Davis. Trippier gets there, plays it off Davis. Newcastle throw 7 minutes plus a little bit to go in this game. Kieran McKenna's thoughts before 6 o'clock, possibly those of an Ipswich Town player as well. Byrne up towards Miley, the number 67. Hall gives it back to Miley. Miley to Tonali. Tonali to Trippier. Playing it forward towards Almiron. O'Shea takes it on the chest for Burgess. Burgess down the line to Leif Davis. Infield to Phillips. Back it goes to Burgess. Now Muric across the edge of his, right through his 6-yard area. Finds O'Shea. O'Shea up towards Al-Hamidi, up against Tonali, the furthest player back for Newcastle, not a defender. Al-Hamidi's held it up. Comes in field, Ali Al-Hamidi, gives it to Johnson. That was neat. Square to Broadhead, who's caught the eye since he came on. Davis on the left-hand side. Phillips wants it just in field of him. Phillips gives it back to Davis. Can he get one good bit of distribution into the Newcastle area? Not on this occasion. Phillips to Morsey, forward towards Broadhead. Newcastle happy for Ipswich Town to have the ball 30 yards plus from their goal. Tonali then engages with Morsey. Morsey gives it to Phillips. Phillips looks to play a ball into the box, headed down by Scher. Comes towards Miley. He glances away from Al-Hamidi. Miley, with his long legs of his, gets to halfway, gives it to Gordon. Almiron's making a run. Gordon might have found him. Too much on the ball, just. Maybe if Almiron hadn't stopped his run a bit soon, it might have held up for him. Looked to be onside. Broadhead loses out to 3 white shirts. Gordon's taking a smack in the jaw. Now with Trippier. Trippier once again. Ball down to Ryan Meikle now to hopefully give us some sporting joy tonight. Alexandra Palace in round 2 of the PDC World Darts Championship. The Leiston player up against none other than Luke Littler. It's a miserable sporting afternoon so far for Ipswich Town supporters. Yeah, Gordon rather clashed with the back of Nathan Broadhead's head. 2 players coincidentally made their Everton debut in the same game, the Europa League game a few years ago, Broadhead and Gordon, so they know each other well enough. Not how they really wanted to be reacquainted. Maybe signs of blood from Gordon's nose or teeth. He's certainly been dealt with a bit of tissue down below us. In the final 5 minutes of this game. Not how any of us wanted Ipswich Town's pre-Christmas fixtures to be rounded off. Scher plays the ball to Trippier in space. Almiron's on a run. Out comes Muric. Muric gets there ahead of Almiron. Timed his run well. Good positioning from the goalkeeper. Newcastle playing with 10 men because Gordon's still getting some nasal treatment. Al-Hamidi, he's caught by Scher on halfway. Free kick. certainly given them more to think about, the Newcastle centre-halves in this second half. Ali Al-Hamadi.
Yeah, without question, he's been certainly our plus point today, and he's just taken advantage of an opportunity.
Morsey over the top to Broadhead. He's done well since he came on as well. Flag's gone up against him now. Anthony Gordon ready to come back on. Got a big part in Murphy's goal in the first half. 3.5 minutes to play at what's a rather flat Portman Road. There is Dan Burn going back towards Dubravka. Dubravka hits his clearance to the halfway. Burgess is always going to be the favourite to win that. Miley trying to get on the ball before Morsey. Phillips goes in there, all guns blazing, but his challenge come pass ends up with Lewis Hall getting it on the far side. Now it's with Dan Burn once again. Dubravka. Hall to Tonali. Hall continues to do well. Tonali can't get the better of Phillips, but in the end Phillips' pass finds a Newcastle player. Gordon to Miley. He's very tall in midfield, very lean, the teenage midfielder. Here's Longstaff, the number 36. Longstaff draws on the challenge of Taylor and Al-Hamadi and then plays it back to Cher. It's been an ideal game for Newcastle off the back of their cup win, this one really. Longstaff finding Miley out to the left-hand side, and Gordon. Sorry, it's Hall on the far side. Gordon's in the middle. Here come Newcastle with Miley. Little chip ball across the area. Finds the chest of Almiron on the right corner of the Ipswich area. Gives it back to Longstaff. Longstaff trying to thread the ball through to Gordon, who'd made a run inside the box. Comes out to Trippier. Trippier's intended pass beyond Davis is intercepted by the left back. Now Miguel Almiron. Final couple of minutes. Newcastle possibly trying to get a fifth when an opportunity arises anyway. More than happy with a 4-0 away win though. All three of their away losses this season have coincidentally come in West London. Brentford, Fulham and Chelsea have beaten them. Here come Newcastle. Hall gets inside the area. Lewis Hall dinks it into the middle for Almiron, but Muric read it well and caught it well. Yeah,
super run and very creative. Just unlucky with the cross. Goalkeeper took it comfortably, but very good run from Hall.
Muric, he's got serious competition as an England left back going forward. Leif Davis. Here is Muric. Disguised pass to Leif Davis. Controlled near side. Plays it up to Broadhead, former Sunderland player, of course. Phillips to Al-Hamadi. Al-Hamadi gives it back to Taylor. There's Harry Clark in towards Morsey. You won't see him till Chelsea. Morsey to Broadhead. Broadhead's got it. Town looking for a consolation goal. Broadhead outside the area. Tries to find Johnson. I thought he was going to hit it, Broadhead. He had a couple of half chances to do that. In the end, it's not come to anything, that attack.
Yeah, I think he wanted to, but he was just searching for the perfect situation. He should have just let fly. He'd done good work on the ball. He had got a little bit of space and should have just let fly.
Burn takes the ball outside the Newcastle area. We're about 30 seconds away from being told how many added minutes there are going to be. Hopefully not too many. Neither team will want many out there. Hall goes back to Burn. Onto the chest of Trippier. Trippier to Almiron. Gordon's making a run. Almiron's held on to the ball. Gordon's gone offside. 4 minutes of added on time. Keep getting wafts of curry sitting in the press box. That's arguably the best part of today. Gordon with a nutmeg on Al-Hamadi. Then to Trippier. Trippier gets it back near side. Tonali gives it to Trippier once again. Bad defeat this for Ipswich Town. Always was going to be a tall order if Newcastle turned up and were on their A game, and I think they could probably play better. Newcastle Town have certainly not been anywhere near their best this afternoon. It's been a bit of a lesson for them. Hopefully when Town go to St James's Park on the 26th of April, ideally with Delap and Tuanzebe in the side, there'll be a different outfit. Dubravka Gives the ball to Cher. Now crouching down Eddie Howe on the edge of his technical area. Very good week for him, reaching another Cup semi-final for the second time in 3 years through the last 4 of the Carabao Cup. They'll play Arsenal over 2 legs for a place at Wembley against either Tottenham or Liverpool. Dubravka to Hall, infield to Miley. 90 seconds into the added-on 4 minutes. Newcastle have just finally progressed the ball up to the halfway line, just making Ipswich Town chase shadows at the moment. Newcastle keeping a hold of the ball. Chastening afternoon this for Ipswich Town and their fans. Trippier, every pass now being olayed. This must be up into the 30s consecutively from Newcastle United, one would have thought by now. They've had all the possession for at least 90 seconds. Tonali to Byrne. Brutal, the Premier League, it really is. Such a tough challenge what Ipswich Town are trying to do and survive this season. Dubravka. As Al-Hamadi presses to Byrne, towards Tonali. Back it goes to Byrne. Byrne, bit of a heavy touch, he's got away from Al-Hamadi. Hopefully Ipswich Town get another touch in this game. Miley to Gordon, 90 seconds to go, they might not. Gordon trying to play it through to Barnes. Barnes in on goal, great chance for goal number 5. Goes Squay, should have scored. Barnes back infield, Longstaff. Surely Newcastle get a 5th, they do. The flag stays down. It's eventually gone up, just as Dan Byrne started to celebrate. It looked like it was going to come. He hasn't realised over on the far side. But it looks like it's still 4-0 rather than 5.
Are the linesmen instructed to take their time like they do? I mean, that was unbelievable. Just wondering, the VAR obviously are getting involved, but
VAR right at the start of the game and right at the end as well. I mean, Barnes should have scored. I don't know why he was square at what on earth he was thinking of.
That was the time to score. That's come off of Sam Morsey, isn't it?
No, I think it's Longstaff. Checking disallowed goal offside, like we really care actually. We were waiting with bated breath in the first minute. That was a massive decision for VAR, but 4-0, 5-0. I was really bothered.
Yeah, he's offside.
Yeah.
He's come back from inside the goal.
Taking a long old time today, John Brooks and co.
I think they're probably trying to assess whether Sam Morsey had the last touch, but I don't think he did.
No, I don't think he did. I think it was Longstaff who kind of prodded it away from him. Still, we are waiting to see, checking for a disallowed goal. It's been cancelled out. It's still 4-0. Sarcastic applause from the Newcastle fans. Goodness me, there's hardly anybody in the north stand or the south stand. Look, it's the first time I've really looked up. I've had my eye obviously on the game. Eddie Howe with a wry smile. So many empty blue seats at both ends of Portman Road. None amongst the Geordie faithful. So Dan Byrne's first goal in inverted commas of the season chalked off. Cleared to the halfway line by Newcastle, nodded forward. So one VAR's gone against Ipswich, one's gone for them. Bookending this match, this very, very disappointing afternoon. Trippier back to Cher. Two of the very best young British managers down below us, but it's Eddie Howe with a smile on his face. It's a very unhappy Christmas for Ipswich Town. Their first fixture of the festive season has ended in a chastening defeat. Totally outclassed by Newcastle United, who've won this game by 4-0.
Yeah, they just enjoyed the afternoon, Newcastle. Town would have dreaded playing every minute of that game. But, as soon as they went behind, they knew that it was going to be a difficult afternoon. And then when Newcastle set a belt, the game after the first goal, that was the key to everything. Newcastle seemed to sort of take maximum benefit of the opening goal and started to play some free-flowing football, and it was difficult for Town to actually stop, to get themselves back into the flow of the game, to actually try and dominate the proceedings, which they needed to do if they wanted to get back to a 1-1 situation. They never looked like doing it, and it just took a little bit of time. The second goal for Newcastle was an outstanding strike, and that was really the game over for me, you know. And I just felt that we had been so far behind by half-time, not just by the scoreline but by the performance, that I would have said, Kieran should have just said, look, you know, we need some fresh legs, desperate for fresh legs. What's the maximum we can do? 4 of the 5 would have been the sensible thing. And I think that would have been the only answer, because the players that had started the game were absolutely distraught. It was going to take something amazing to get them back up again, and I think maybe an addition of 4 outfield players would have helped them, you know, and maybe we could have got something back, you know, from the scoreline at half-time. But Newcastle just generally have been so superior to us, and this is the first time for me that I've seen us miles behind the opposition. You know, I think the one thing that we've always managed to do this season, whether we've won, drawn or lost, we've always managed to keep the game level, the performance level, but we haven't today. We've been a long way from it, and it's not. If Liam Delap had been available, we would have been better. There's no question about it, because he gives us something. He inspires his teammates. But that was a woeful performance from the ones that took part in the game, and it starts at the back. The goalkeeper had a poor match. Our back 4 as a unit were very poor. The midfield as a unit were very poor, and then the front end of the team just not in it really. And Amari Hutchinson, if I could give you an example there, that's the poorest I've seen Amari, the most untidy I've seen Amari. No, pretty much every player, you know, was just a long way from.
I guess Al Hamadi, if we're going to try and find a positive, Mick, that second half from Ali Al Hamadi, he did all that could be asked of him, and maybe a little bit more. Yeah,
the only 2 positives for me were, you know, Ali Al Hamadi's performance when the game was still a game. You know, when he came on at half-time, there was still a lot for Newcastle to do still. You know, they couldn't mess around at that point. I was going to say Nathan Broadhead was good when he came on, but there was not a game. You know, there's no game out there then. There was no time to get the game back. Newcastle were playing fun football. They weren't playing particularly disciplined football. So you can't judge anybody's performance at that stage of the game, but you can judge Ali Al Hamadi's performance, because when he came on, Newcastle will have been sent out here with the last message from Eddie Howe: don't mess up, boys. You're in a great position. Don't mess up. Get the first 20 minutes of the second half right, and then the game is yours. So he would have still been throwing out messages to his team to play proper football, and that's when Ali Al Hamadi came on, and he did some inspiring things, you know. But you're talking about one player, you know, over a lot, you know, sort of 11, 12 players, if you like, and it wasn't good enough.
Town totally outclassed in their penultimate home game of the calendar year. Sadly, the wait goes on for that first Premier League win at Portman Road. They've been taught a really harsh lesson here this afternoon. Newcastle by far the better side, and they've won this game by 4-0. Kieran McKenna's on the way at some point.